It's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. This is the night that we always wait for. It's Wednesday night. We're here in Los Angeles, California. We're playing $25.50, unrestricted buy-in, no limit hold on the blinds for this game for $25.50, $3,000 minimum buy-in. Tons and tons of action. We got a lot of. It's a good game out there, Dave.
It's a real good game.
Real good game. So let's head over to the table.
Yeah, and the only thing the game is missing.
Start doing it.
I'll just throw out there is Corporation Mike is actually not here. He and his mother are actually out of town. So they're not here, but it's nice to kind of get a little mix up here. Seat one, we've got Alan. And love to see Alan in a big game like this. Man. And you see Alan is already short stacked there. He bought into the minimum $3,000, and he's already short. Mo is in seat two, where he's actually going to get up and let Francisco play over him.
Oh, okay.
And we'll get Francisco in there for a second. Not quite sure what Francisco's buying in for. Russ is over there. Hollywood Russ in seat number 3. And you can see Russ has got a little over 5,000. Seat number 4 is Kirk. And that is tight Kirk. And before the show started, Kirk's actually got close to $7,000. Before the show started, Kirk actually flopped top set against Jonas's second set. Talking about set over set, and Kirk doubled up off of Jonas there.
Yep.
Seat number 5, we've got Mike. And we saw Mike about a week ago. Mike's a pretty solid player. He knows how to mix it up, and we'll see how he plays tonight. It'll be interesting. He's got about 6,300. Seat number 6, we've got Gore. And I played with Gore into the wee hours of the morning a couple nights ago. I'll tell you, he's a really good guy. Really good guy, and a good poker player at that. And he's got about 4,000 in chips. Seat number 7, we got Tony. Tony also played with us the other night, and Tony's an accomplished tournament pro. And he's got about 5,500. Seat number 8, we've got a new player there. It's David Kim. And supposedly David Kim heard about the game, wanted to play it, heard the game was good. And he's down here. He's got about $5,000 in chips. And seat number 9, we've got Riverboat King to everybody at 2+2. And if you're not a 2+2, that's Jonas. Yep. Jonas is a real solid player. Probably, if not the second best player at this table. Really good player. And he's got about $5,300 in chips.
We're going to get into the first hand of the night here. We got Queen Jack over there for seat 2. He needs to keep his cards in the window. And Jonas, he got checked to Jonas, and he bet with bottom pair. And Francisco made the check call on the flop from up front. Jonas has the button. Goes check here on the turn. And the river here is a 4. And let's see if Jonas might be able to represent something here. I mean, Francisco check called the flop. It's about $1,000 pot right now.
I don't think Jonas is going to buy. I mean, I'd be surprised. This guy has just got to the table. He's brand new. Jonas doesn't really have a read on him yet. I'd be really surprised if Jonas actually bets this.
Well, let's see what's going to happen here with Francisco. I think the action's on him.
You know, you got to make sure if you're going to bluff your opponent, you got to make sure your opponent can be bluffed out. And I don't know if Jonas knows. If Jonas checks it there.
Yeah, Jonas checks right behind here. And he's going to take it down here with the jack.
And you'll see a lot of good poker players like that. When I sit down at a table, the last thing I want to do is I don't want to make a move on a guy I don't know what's going on yet.
Yeah.
I really want to sit down at the table, kind of sit there for even 45 minutes or so, get a feel for how all the players play before I start making moves on somebody.
Button's going to move over here. Seat 1, that's Alan over there in seat 1. And like we said, Kirk won a pretty big hand against Jonas. We'll get the first chip count of the night up. And I got to tell you, Dave, kind of a bad beat I got. Well, we're going to look at this. We got aces here for Hollywood Russ in the big blind and jacks for Francisco in the small blind. So this could be interesting here. Now look at this. Jonas is going to bring this one in from a raise from the cutoff with ace-8 of clubs to 250.
And look at the blinds here.
Wow, and Francisco, he might come over the top here with jacks.
You owe me some money back, sir.
Let's see what he's going to do. Jonas is, he's going to re-raise here, and now what is Hollywood Russ going to do? I can see a $5,000 chip there that Francisco has behind. The white chips are hundreds. The purples are 25s, and the big chips are thousands. The really big chips are 5,000.
I mean, do you ever smooth call this with Russ?
How much has he re-raised here?
He raised it $800, I think.
He made
5 more.
500 more, so it's $750 total for Russ.
Might you just smooth call this?
Well, if you think that Jonas might leave and he's just kind of making that late position bet, you might want to play a trap here. You're in position against that re-raiser in seat 2.
I'm going to have position on the entire time. I mean, and
He's
going
to re-raise it, Dave. He's not fooling around. Jonas is going to quickly fold, I'm sure. He's going to re-raise it 2,000. Wow, big re-raise.
And now, what do you do if you're at jacks here? I mean, I know what you do, and I know what I do. I mean, it pretty much hit the muck automatic, right? I mean, you're out of position with jacks. You have no idea where you're at.
Wow, and Francisco moves all in here, and Russ makes the call with aces. Unbelievable. A huge pot to open up the night.
Jeez.
Here we go to the flop. 10-8-10, no help for Francisco. He needs a jack and a jack only, and it does not come. And Russ is going to double through right away. Wow.
Now, let me throw this at you. Now, obviously, Russ played it fine. Nothing was going to change.
Right.
Do you think Jonas gets in trouble with that flop? Remember, he had ace-8 of clubs. Okay? Then look at the turn now.
Right. Well, like you said, though, if Russ made the call there, Jonas is not going to call.
I don't think so. I don't think he's calling 500 more with ace-8 of clubs.
And
Clearly,
that's
those
what
players.
Jonas is actually saying at the table. He would have picked up a pair. He would have picked up a nut flush draw on the turn.
Not sure if he would have played the hand, though, or not.
Of course, if you want to keep the show interactive, you can always email us at live@thebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions, always appreciated. You can also follow a live thread on 2plus2 by going to 2plus2.com, spelled out, click on forums.
If anybody's wondering, we actually fired Kev Math, and we've hired SP Surfing to start the thread. We want to thank him.
Go over to World Poker Tour, etc., and check it out. Official Live the Bike thread for $3.15, $25.50, unrestricted.
And look at that! What a double up there,
And how much was Russ behind? That's going to be maybe a $5,000 or $6,000 pot right there.
Well, no, it's a $5,000 swing. It was almost an $11,000 pot.
Well, no, C2 had, yeah, you're right. C2 had about 5,000. I think Russ had him covered.
Yeah.
So somewhere between 10 and 11,000 to start the night off. Wow.
And you see that little green chip there of Alan move his head. God, Alan's head is so big. Jeez.
And, you know, word is that for some of the old school Live the Bike fans, or I guess not necessarily that old school, but Jesus was on the board for this game, and he might be playing in the game tonight.
Really? Wow. Well, if Jesus comes in the game will be nuts.
Francisco's going to play 3,000 behind here in seat 2.
Yeah, and obviously really, really overplayed jacks there.
There's the board there, so maybe, I don't know, we don't see Jesus on the board now. And that's actually Jimmy Woods on the board for this game, actually. He's next up to come in the
Really?
game.
James Woods is going to play this game?
There he is. James Woods.
Wow,
First up.
the funny thing is we've had him on the show before, but he played the 300 to 500 game. And I didn't think he was comfortable playing. Obviously, I'm not saying he doesn't have the money, but I just didn't think he was that comfortable playing these high stakes. Wow.
Tough call, though. Big call, man. Nice play, man. I like the way you played that. That was real methodical.
The butt moves over here to seat 3.
Francisco, how's the tequila business? Very good. Good?
Well, and the blind's going to move over to Kirk in the small, and seat 5, Mike, who's actually played this game several times before in the big.
Actually, should be hot and heavy. Hey, I want to throw a little challenge out to everybody. Kev Math actually went out, and Kev Math over at 2plus2 started a Live at the Bike fans bracketology bracket thing over at ESPN.com. So go over there, click on fantasy, go to Live at the Bike fans. I guess it is.
Click on fantasy, sign up in the tournament challenge, and then the private group is Live at the Bike fans. Password Bartgasm.
Yeah.
Jonas is going to raise here to 300 in seat 9. He's got ace jack suited. We're playing 25-50, no limit hold'em. White chips are hundreds, purples are 25s, big chips are thousands and 5,000s respectively. Kirk is not going to call here with an ace-8. Seat 5's got 9-5 offsuit. He's probably not going to play. And let's see, and Gore's not going to go heads up with his buddy there with the little gap-suited connector. I'm going to tell you about a hand, Dave, and sometimes we talk about. I didn't play the hand, but it's a really bad beat. I was playing four-handed at the 5-10 table with Kirk, Hollywood Russ, and an aggressive kind of internet player. And I raised it from the cutoff with pocket eights. Kirk called on the button. Russ called, and the kid had about 500 left, re-raised to 250 out of the big one. I mucked. Kirk shows me ace-king. He mucks. And Russ calls. The flop comes out ace-king-8. And the kid had actually re-raised to 250 with 7-3 of diamonds. Russ won the hand with ace-9. But if the kid had just played it the way he should have and mucked the hand, I would have been about $1,500 richer at Kirk's expense. How is he going to get away with ace-king, top 2, 4
No,
hand?
of course not.
Unbelievable. Bottom set against top 2. I mean, that's a hand that you lose in a full ring game, you know?
Yeah.
One channel down.
Limped around here 4 ways, so it's a $200 pot.
I'll tell you what a sport Mo is. Mo gets up for Francisco. It's a game Mo's been waiting for all week, too.
Ace 7-8 here. Gore's got Jack 7. Tony's got Jack 8. Mike's got a gut shot to the 9.
Paid him an AV.
And Tony's going to throw a little $125 feeler bet out here with middle pair. 125. I do not think that Gore's going to get involved, and he does not. Neither does Mike. And seat number 7 takes it down. There you go.
Please email us at live@thebike.com. We
right.
appreciate it. We like to keep the show as interactive as possible. Kind of makes it fun for us and fun for you guys.
Yep.
Hey, I have sensitive ears. You guys gotta be. I had a hand too. I had a good hand. Yeah, right. I did.
Button's going to move over here to seat number 5. What's that in your pocket?
A bunch of tickets from Santa Anita Park Raceway.
Was it Boxing Day again here in March? Oh, this is the last time you wore this coat.
This is the last. No, I wore this coat earlier, but I guess I never took these out.
Alan's going to limp in here with ace-king. And it's going to be 4-way action here. So Alan did not raise it up pre-flop. $200 pot, here we go. Well, there's the ace. Ace 3-7 here. And we got a diamond draw for Gore. Alan's going to come out and bet here.
Now, when Alan bets, it's pretty obvious he's got an ace here, right?
He's going to bet 175. So for Gore here, how is he going to play the diamond draw? He's out of position.
No value in raising here. There really is no. There's no fold equity against Alan. You got to realize that.
You don't think you could get off Alan like a week like ace-8, ace-9, something like that?
No, I don't.
No. I don't think Alan's going anywhere with ace-king. You're right about that. I just wonder if, say, Alan limped in with like ace-3, ace-4. And Gore makes the call.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I got to tell you, against Alan, the best way to play it here is, to me, is hit your hand and then bet value.
Well, here we go to the turn. Turn's a queen. That's no help for Gore.
And hopefully Alan just prices you in.
Gore's going to check. Pot's about $550.
For a second, sweetie.
And Alan's going to bet 400. Well, that's not really
No,
pricing
go back,
Gore
go
in.
back down
The real
one.
issue, though, is if Gore hits
Go
the
back down
diamond,
one.
could he actually make
Yeah,
a lot
right
of money
there.
off of
Up
Alan?
one,
with
up
king?
one.
I like the way Gore played that hand. I mean, I think that's the way you played against Alan.
Yeah.
You're not going to try to bully him. You're not going to try to run him over with your semi-draw, with your semi-bluff. There's just not enough fold equity against Alan.
She just had it on the commercial line. Yeah.
Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. You can catch us every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10, but tonight it's the big night. It's no limit hold'em, blinds are 25 and 50. Minimum buy-in of $3,000, no maximum buy-in. We've got a lot of money on this table already. I mean, Hollywood Russ in seat 3 has got over $10,000 in front of him.
I wonder if he's comfortable playing that with that amount, Dave.
Well, right now, nobody on the table's got him covered anyway, so it doesn't make a difference.
Jonas is going to limp in here with pocket 10s under the gun. Francisco makes the limp. 6-10 off suit here.
Gore.
And Gore here is on the button. Seems like the players are distracted by something on the television right now. Gore
Maybe there's a
limps in.
Lakers game on or something like that?
5-way action here, I believe. And we need to see seat 8's cards. Flop comes out 8-3 deuce here. Well, Jonas has got the overpair to the board. Let's see if he throws a little bet out. And seat 8's got ace-8 here, Dave. He's got top pair. He might. No, he does not bet. Jonas is going to bet 300. I was wondering if, seat 8 comes out and bets there, what is Jonas going to do with, say, 4 people to act behind him in a limped pot?
Now you wonder, is seat number 8 going to check raise this?
No, he doesn't even get involved. He just check folds there.
No,
Oh, excuse me, you're right. He makes the check call.
Yeah.
He makes the check call. Oh, it's seat 7 who mucked.
Yeah.
Here we go to the turn. The turn's a jack. Let's see how Jonas is going to play this. He's going to bet again. He bets 500 here. The pot was about 750.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough to put the guy under the gun here on 2 pair. You might think ace-8 is good here.
And he makes the check call here again. We've quickly got about a $1,700 pot to the river. The river's a queen. This one might just go check here.
Obviously, the turn and the river are not good cards for either hand.
Again, it's about a $1,700 pot. And that's exactly what happens. It goes check. And Jonas is going to take it down here with tens.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is you got to start thinking if you have ace-8 there, you got to go, okay, now this guy limped in onto the gun. What kind of hands might he limp in with?
Right.
And 9s, 10s, and jacks are exactly the hands you might have there. You know, you think, would Jonas limp in there with 9-8, 8-7? He might, you know.
Email here from Neil Wills. He says, keep up the superior work, guys. My game has improved from watching your show to the point that my weekly 1-2 no-limit home game is broken up because I've literally busted everyone out for the last 5 weeks. There you go. Looks like I need to find a new venue. Pocket queens here for Jonas in the big blind.
That's great. We're breaking up games across the United States.
Yeah, breaking up
Actually,
games.
across the world, folks. There we go.
So you can see the 2 ladies here in Jonas's hand in seat 9 in the big blind.
I love the ladies.
Francisco's going to limp in here with jack 7 offsuit.
It'll be interesting to see how Jonas plays this in the big blind. Well, obviously, it'll play it a lot differently if nobody else is in the pot.
Well, it's going to get limped around, and Jonas makes it 300 more.
Well, that's a big raise. And I can't imagine either player calling.
But Francisco's going to make the call here with jack 7, and David Muck's the big lick suited. And we've got about an $800 pot going heads up. Jonas in command with the overpair.
I mean, do you think maybe Francisco's he's on tilt a little bit after losing the pocket jacks?
Francisco's got overcards and a gut shot, and Jonas is going to bet the pot here.
And Jonas is correctly against a player like Francisco. He's not playing it tricky. He's playing it straightforward here. He's just trying to extract as much money as he possibly can from this guy.
Francisco is not going to get involved, and Jonas takes it down there with the queens.
And it would have come out 6 queen, by the way. 6 on the turn and then a queen on the river.
It's like you limped in, call the raise.
Well, we got another email. We got an email here from Kevin in Hershey, Pennsylvania. He said, I discovered you guys when you appeared on the circuit. Everyone watching can also always check out our episode on the circuit by going to cardplayer.com. We're right there. You can go to their little page, and it's all in a little directory. And he says, what is the cutoff? Well, there's another term that we can note down. We're going to have a bunch of these terms that are going to be under the heading as seen on Live at the Bike.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of a glossary or terminology definitions page on our website, and we will have that up as soon as possible.
Yep. And of course, the cutoff is the position 1 before the button to answer that question.
Exactly. So right now, the cutoff seat would be seat number 7, which is Tony.
Yep.
Hope that helps.
Of course, we got our Winning of the Green tournament going on tonight, Dave. And tonight is a $300 no limit with 1 optional rebuy. So there's going to be a lot of no limit action here tonight.
Get another email here from Roy. I want to get to it in a second.
250.
Gore's going to raise it up here to 250 out of seat number 6. He's got pocket aces. He's got the Rockets.
Big hands you have passing around here so far in the first 30 minutes of the show.
Now look at seat 7. He's going to muck jack 10 of hearts there like it's nothing. He's pretty deep there, Dave. And he's in position against Gore. It's a little bit surprising. Maybe I make that call.
Well, another jack 10 is going to call, though.
Yeah. Well, you're not necessarily looking to hit your jack or your 10 there, but jack 10 suited, I mean, that's very connected. You make the nut straight. You've got flushing possibilities. The ball comes out here, queen, 8.
Well, Francisco's got a gut shot. He needs a 9 for the straight.
Francisco checks, and Gore's going to bet. He's going to bet only a little bit. He's going to bet 300 here, Dave. Kind of a weak bet. Maybe
Pot is about 600.
Yeah, you can kind of see where Francisco's at right now.
Well, you know, I don't mind the bet here because it's not necessarily a scary board. I mean, and if your opponent has a queen, you kind of want to find out.
Now, Francisco makes the call here, and I wonder if this becomes a blank. Is Gore going to fire again on the turn? oh, the turn's a club, and Gore does not have a club on his hand.
I think
now
he has
you
to
might
bet.
need to bet.
I think you need to bet this.
Yeah, because you need to protect against that fourth club coming. If he had the ace of clubs, he could make an easy check here on the turn, right?
You could definitely think about it.
And now he's going to make a bet.
600.
He's going to bet 600 here.
And he's still betting about half the pot. Up the pot is about 1,200. Now it's 1,800. And if Francisco knew that his club was good, he might actually call, because now he's suddenly picked up 9 clubs and additional 3 nines.
Yep.
He's got 12 outs going to the river, and you can see he's actually a 25%
But
chance.
I really like the way that Gore's playing this hand. I mean, against recreational players that don't necessarily have the skill to make a check raise with a draw, which is what Francisco has here. You know, if Francisco check raises here, I think Gore might fold.
Oh, definitely.
And the river is a club, and Francisco gets there.
Yeah, but Francisco will probably check, and you imagine Gore will check behind him.
And the jack of clubs is going to take it down there, Dave, for over a $2,000 pot. Yep. I mean, sometimes we talk about an experienced player against kind of a recreational player. A recreational player will usually just call with their draws.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, Gore played it in a manner that he was probably going to fold to a check raise. Now, he's obviously scared of 3 clubs and the possibilities that the guy has trip queens, right?
Well, I mean, most beginner players play pretty straightforward. They bet when they've got it. They raise when they have it.
Right.
You know, they check when they don't have it. It's pretty obvious. And that's exactly how Francisco played it. I like the way Gore played the hand. I mean, he certainly charged his opponent to get there.
Right.
Unfortunately for him, runner clubs came out. What are you going to do? Email here from Roy, and he just says here he's looking to play in tomorrow's gaming because he sees that on our schedule it's a $200 buy-in for Live at the Bike. And I just want to make sure that if Roy is listening, tomorrow night's game might not be 200.
No, it's always subject to change, especially during this tournament series.
Yeah.
We're trying to put the biggest game that we can find on. And it might actually be a 5-10 game. We haven't done that game in a while, so I don't want to disappoint anybody and think that, well, we look at the schedule and it's going to be 200. Well, the game is always subject to change.
I mean, we're usually pretty good about staying on schedule during most other months, but the month of March is Winning at a Green. The month of August is the Legends, and during those months especially, we really keep our schedule open.
Now, Jonas raised here with Queen Jack. We have it as King Jack, but he has Queen Jack here. He raised it, and he's going to make a continuation bet. The flop comes King 8-3 with a couple hearts. Jonas does not have anything. He just makes the continuation bet, but everybody else missed. Again, the flop was King 8-3 with 2 hearts. And he is going to take it down there with that continuation bet.
You know, you're not giving me any signs at all.
You went in the pot. Oh, I gotta go see
Another email here from Greg Ball. He says, great show, guys. I live in Delaware.
Yes.
I have to say, I stay up every night to watch you guys since I'm an East Coaster. Because of what I've learned watching your show, I've moved from playing 1-2 element to 3-6 online. Keep up the good work. Well, thanks a lot, Greg.
Hey, just so you know, if you don't want to stay up, Greg, you can actually watch our show at your convenience.
That's right.
Our show is actually shown on a loop
Of course, I might give you
the whole following day until 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Just go to liveatthebike.com and you can watch it. Now, obviously, it's not interactive.
Right. Every 4 hours after the show, all the way up until 5 p.m. the next day, you guys will watch the entire week on a rerun on Sunday starting at noon Pacific time.
And we do that for a lot of our fans that are overseas.
We got a raise here by seat 5. He's going to bring it in with King Queen offsuit to 250. Seat number 8 is going to call with a suited ace-3 here, Dave. And Francisco's in there with 10-8 of clubs. And Kirk's got pocket 8s. So we've got a $1,000 pot here going 4 ways. Mike, the pre-flop raiser, in seat 5.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
look at this. He's got an open-ended straight draw with the second nut flush draw.
That's a big, big flop. It's a really big flop, folks.
Jack 10-6, all hearts. And it's a $1,000 pot.
400.
And he's going to bet weak here. He bets 400 into this pot, and that's actually going to do it here.
Yeah, that'll probably take it down. It does. I was just checking out the 2+2 post, and Matt the Cat said dumb question, and there's no such thing as a dumb question. And the question is, you actually wanted to know what that plastic box was between seat 1 and seat 2. And that plastic box, we can get that, there it is. That plastic box is actually, that's Mo's money. And Mo's our host of our game, and he's taking a break, and he's letting Francisco play over him.
Yep.
And once in a while, Mo will do that. He'll let the customers play in there for 30 minutes or an hour, and then he'll come back in. And this way, Mo doesn't lose his spot in the game.
Looked like Garland actually beat you to the punch here on 2+2, Dave.
Garland's on top.
Yeah.
I tell you. Got Ace Jack in seat number 3. That's Hollywood Rough.
Yeah, he's in the small blind. Buttons over there in seat 2.
And
I want to encourage all the Live at the Bike fans to sign up for that little college. And maybe we
Yeah,
can
man,
throw a
bring it
prize
on.
out or some sort of paraphernalia, maybe to the winner or something.
yeah,
like
I hope so. I'm going to win.
that.
There's no doubt. I am Mr. College basketball. I am just going to roll with it. I mean, I think there's 10 people in it right now.
Yeah.
I'd like to challenge people that are watching. Come on down, play in that thing. Let's see if we can get 100 people in
Look
there.
at this. Russ is raised out of the small blind with ace jack, and Francisco's called him with 9-3 offsuit. And Russ hits the ace, and he bets 300, and he's going to take it down.
I like the raise there. I really like the raise with ace jack offsuit. When nobody enters the pot, and the guy in the button limps in, and the guy in the button is Francisco, why not raise with ace jack?
Got to
Because
be
he's-
probably the best hand,
Well,
right?
it's probably the best hand, and also you're raising for value because he will call you.
Right.
Now you have to realize that you're probably going to continue. You got to make that continuation bet regardless of what flops, though.
All right, here we go with the first chip count here. Now, again, I kind of want to throw out there, I believe that, do we have an end point or a beginning point here tonight?
We do.
Okay. So Russ is at 11,000. He's covering the table. We've got 50,000 off the table. Let's take a look at the differences from 655.
There, look at
and
that,
Russ
Russ.
well over $5,000.
Wins $5,600. Now, just so you know, Kirk is down 500 since the show started.
But he's up real big against Jonas before the show
exactly,
started.
he won about 4,000 before
Right.
the show even started.
Yeah. Now we got a live straddle here by Gore. So it's going to be $100 to call. And C2 here in the cutoff, he's going to raise it up here. I like the raise to 300. He's got Queen Jack. He's going to bring it in here, Dave. And Gore's going to call him here with King 10 offsuit, out of position. And actually, Francisco's got pocket jacks. And we're heads up here. Flop comes out 8-9-5 here. It's a $700 pot.
And it's not a real good flop. And generally, if a player like Francisco here, who's not as experienced, if he's showing aggression, he usually has something.
Yeah, no real reason. Again, not a lot of fold equity to make some sort of move here.
No,
by
not at
Gore.
all.
Really
You're-
pick your spots better.
You're calling, if you're Gore here, you're calling because you don't think Francisco can get off of a hand.
Right.
You know,
Gore's
there are
cutting
players,
chips out.
right? There are players you want to bluff, and it's generally the better players you want to bluff. And you can see what a favorite Francisco is. Overwhelming here.
Yep.
Gore's got some sort of, you can have run a straight
He's
possibility.
got one over card.
Yeah, I mean, he's in bad shape.
Yeah, he's gonna get rid of it there. So again, email here from Damian Edwards. Mike and his mom are on vacation.
No, they're actually in Fresno.
Okay.
Checking out other, Mike's does the corporation. And,
Karate Kid style. Oh, that's Reseda. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Fresno.
Oh,
Anyway, Mike and his mother are actually just checking on their other operations.
okay. And of course, Mo will probably be in this game. Francisco is playing over him.
Yeah.
Email here from Renee Nelson. Says, I'm a devoted fan from Denmark. Love your show. When I heard Mike was away, I actually thought of Jesus, and I'm glad he might be in the game. But where's Barry? Barry's on vacation in New Zealand. He'll be back here probably within a week, right? He's on your wife's calendar.
Yes, he's on my wife's calendar.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, we have a lot of jet setters here on the show. I mean, well, you obviously have to expect. There's $50,000 on the table, and
Yeah.
these guys are all comfortable either winning or losing $5,000, $6,000, $7,000.
Right.
These guys can all afford to go on vacation.
Right. Button moves over here to Kirk in seat number 4.
I'm wondering if does Kirk limp in here with ace, deuce, spades on the button? On the button, I mean, it's a hand I like to play.
Well, let's see.
Just curious if he plays it.
Kirk is very, very tight in seat
Oh.
4. Let's see if he's gonna play it, Dave. Limped around 3 ways, and he's not even gonna play it there on the button. Really, really ABC.
I mean, I got to tell you,
5 players.
when you raise with pocket eights, and he called you, you must have gone up. I'm beat. Forget it.
5-way action here. And look at this. Gore's got trip 8s. He's going to check it from up front. There's a couple diamonds.
And this is this is the kind of
Francisco's
hand.
got King 7. And again, he might not go anywhere with top pair.
Well, that's the thing. That's the kind of hand you're looking for. You really want to have a big hand against a player like Francisco and just make him pay. And if I'm Gore, I don't even play it tricky. I raise him right here, and I bet a little on the turn, and I bet a little more on the flop, on the river, and I just make this guy pay the entire way.
Francisco's made a pot-sized flop bet. The pot is 800, 400 for Gore to call.
And how much does Gore have? That's the question here.
Well, it looks like he's got, what is that, 2,500 there.
2,500
plus whatever
in
purples
whites.
he has.
Does he have any purples or big chips?
Doesn't look like it.
And I might make a minimum raise here. The guy made it 400. Why not make it 800 right now?
Raise it.
And that is pretty much what he's going to do here, Dave. Taking a page right out of your book. Well, he's going to make it 600 more.
Okay, that's fine. Same difference.
And you can see how quickly Francisco calls without a second thought.
And what can Francisco beat? I mean,
Yeah.
folks, you can't beat anything with King 7 here. But
Pot is over $2,000. The turn's a 9.
And now you bet 800 or 700 again, and then you bet another 800 on the river, and you get all your money in that way.
He might just move in right now. I mean, the pot's almost big enough.
Right, there's no rush to, though. You want to keep this guy in there.
But he's going to move all in here. He's going to bet 1,000
That's
here.
fine, too.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really need to finesse it.
I mean, I got to be honest, I might even play it a little bit slower. I just don't want to scare this guy out at all. If I raise the minimum, then I bet 600, and then I bet another 600, the money's going in anyway, but I'm kind of like, I'm almost milking this guy.
Well, the pot is about 3,200. It's 1,000 for Francisco to call here.
I just don't want to scare him out.
Yeah.
I know the guy's got a king. I mean, think about it. Gore's got the ace of diamonds in his hand. He's in
Yeah.
really good shape.
And Gore's telling Francisco to fold here, kind of that reverse psychology thing. And Gore's telling him he has an 8. And Francisco gets away from it. Gore does not show. I don't know if Gore could have played that hand any slower where it would have mattered, Dave. I mean, if the guy had King-Queen, I just don't think there's anywhere he's going. It's just that he had King-7. Now, I want to bring something up. And I don't necessarily know if Francisco is a Mexican poker player. Now, Mexican poker is a game that we have here, and actually I'm getting confirmation that he is. And sometimes you will see those particular players really overvalue top pair.
Well, it's basically a 5-card stud
Because
game.
Mexican poker, in 5-card stud, if you've got top pair, that's almost the nuts in 5-card stud. And that's why we see, Jesus and Abel.
Yeah.
People like that, they really, really get involved with just top pair because that's where they're from, that 5-card stun background.
Now, Abel, actually, I played with him recently, and he has adjusted his style
Yeah.
to this game. And he's actually a pretty decent player. I gotta tell you, Gore watched this show, and I have no problem. I think Gore misplayed the hand there. I think I really do. I think if he raises the minimum 400, he bets 500 on the turn, and then his remaining 500 on the river, I think he gets doubles up there. I think he left $1,000 on the table.
Left $1,000 on the table? Well,
I do.
possibly. Jack 10-8 here with a couple of hearts.
What's he scared of? You know Francisco's got a king. It's guaranteed, right? You know for sure he's got a king.
Gets checked around here. The turn's a 7. And Gore has made a straight, and he's going to lead out with the 9. He's going to bet 250.
I like the bet with 2 hearts and 2 spades out there. Why get tricky? Bet it and take
Do you
it.
think that Gore just check raised just a little bit too much on the flop?
Actually, the check was not that was actually fine. He got him to call, which is
Yeah.
fine. But why not just bet 500 on the turn and then 500 on the river?
500 into a $2,000 pot with 1,000 left on the turn.
What are you scared of? You know the guy. I mean, unless you really think the guy's got a diamond.
No, I'm not saying necessarily that, but it's almost like a guy might smell that out or something. But, hey, whatever.
That's what my point is, yeah, if he's playing against you
Yeah.
or somebody else, yeah, but if you're playing against a player like Francisco, the best way to do it is you just don't want to scare him out there. Make it look like, oh, it's only 500. Maybe I'll get lucky. Okay, 500, sure. And then on the river, you're going, wow, the pot's 3,000 already. For 500, I have to call.
So, like, incrementally building up the pot so that
Exactly.
he feels real pot committed on the river to make the call.
It's almost the same way you always say you have to put a little money in there just to build the pot.
225.
Gore's going to raise here on the button at 225 with Queen 7 offsuit. And Francisco's going to make the call here. And we've got about a $700 pot here. Gore has Francisco dominated, and we're heads up. Wow, and Gore's flopped top and bottom pair here. Francisco checks, and again, there's really no reason to play a cagey here. Gore's going to bet.
325.
He's going to bet 325. And look at this, Francisco might call here with bottom pair anyways.
Yeah, he
And
might.
he does.
2 players.
And the thing, you just
Pot
keep-
is now about $1,400. Here
you
we
just
go to the
bet
turn.
your hand and you bet your hand. And
Turns a jack.
you bet again here.
Yeah, I'd
You don't
imagine.
bet a lot. You bet a nice little amount and get him paid.
800.
He's going to bet 800 here. And I don't think Francisco's going to get involved. Now,
Yeah,
if
Jack was just
another
pretty scared.
7 were to come or a 6, I think Gore
Oh.
might have all of Francisco's money. Even if the board were to pair 10 or queen there, he still might stay in. Put the guy on ace-king, You
Yeah.
never know. Email here from Shane Murphy. Hello from New Zealand. Love the show. Now, thanks to the repeat screenings, I probably catch each show during the week. I've learned a lot from the show, probably most importantly, loosening up a bit in my no-limit play. 2 comments I enjoy. One which I think was yesterday. If you want to win big in no limit, you need to play your draws strong rather than waiting for the nuts. And the next comment he enjoyed was, how do you win a big pot, we say? By building it.
He said you build it
Yeah.
yourself.
A lot of again, I see a lot of times even good players check the turn when they fill up, trying to kind of make a guy catch up. When in actuality, they probably would win more money by betting the turn, betting a guy into his draw, right?
Yeah.
Seat number 5 here, Mike is going to raise it up here to 250. He's got ace-9 offsuit. Again, we were playing 25-50 no limit. White chips are hundreds, purples are 25s. We've got thousands and $5,000 chips on the table. Door's got a little suited connector. He's not going to play here. Kind of surprising because he's got a bunch of chips on the table now. And look at Jonas. He's going to raise. I got to tell you, Jonas is kind of like we say sometimes on another planet. He's observing the fact that Michael made the roast, and he comes back over the top of him with Jack 7, but Mike's going to make the call. And we've got about a $1,200 pot here going to the flop. Oh, and I don't think Jonas is going to get him off his hand.
My question, and it's not a great flop for ace-9 if you guys raised out of the blind.
Well, you might, Jonas could have an overpair.
Very easy for Jonas to have jacks, queens, and kings. And you wonder here, we would be talking about it. Let's say Jonas actually had queens here.
Yeah.
We'd be saying, wow, I can't believe Mike is going to go broke here with ace-9. Obviously, in this case, he's lucky enough that Jonas
$1,100 bet and a call, and we've got a $3,000 pot to the turn. The turn's a 3.
Well, Jonas has picked up an out.
And now what is Jonas going to do? It's a $3,000 pot. This is Riverboat King. He checks. And Mike is not going to give him a free card. He's going to bet.
Wow. I told you, I like Mike's game. He's pretty tight and pretty solid, but he knows when to make a stand.
He has made a bet of $1,500 on the turn here, and Jonas gets away from it.
Yeah.
I was just kind of, Jonas has been playing with this guy.
And the river would have been a 4. Wouldn't have changed anything.
Jonas has been playing this guy for about 2 hours now, and, maybe he thinks he's a little bit tight, can bully him around, observing, who he wants to pick out and who he wants to come over the top of.
And I guess the big difference is there are a lot of tight players out there, but most of the good ones are tight but solid, and they know when to make a stand. And I think Mike realized what his image was at the table, and he correctly realized that Jonas was probably trying to make a move there.
Button's going to move over to Jonas in seat 9. Floor's going to limp in here with 8-10 offsuit. And we got 4-way action, limped around, $200 pot. King, Queen, 5 with a couple of diamonds.
Everybody's missed this one. Is Rust's hand actually the best one still? Wow, it is.
Pocket deuces in the lead. Look at David. It gets checked around to him, and he figures, you know what? If no one wants it, I'm going to take it in position. He bets out an ace high, and he's going to take it down.
Take it down.
Email here from Fish on a Mission. He says, hey, guys, I want to know how I can play on Live at the Bike. It seems that there's always kind of the same players. Well, you can just come down here.
Yeah.
Show up here, by usually 4 o'clock and get a seat, put your name on the board.
Obviously, our show is 7 to 10 Pacific time. We like to get the game down by 6 o'clock. And obviously, the board starts for it usually at around 2 or 3 o'clock, so make sure you get down here early.
Another interesting email here by Mike Annalini saying that in passive games, do you ever open limp in early position big with hands as big as aces, kings, or queens? And we'll get to that in a second. We got a little raise here. Well, actually a big raise to 300 by seat number 8. Ace-7 of diamonds. Attacking Kirk's blinds. Kirk is not going to call. Doesn't that kind of sometimes go against that question? If you're in a really passive game, Dave, I don't think you would really want to be limping in early position with big hands. Because you cannot count on a raise that you can in aggressive hands.
Right,
in aggressive
exactly.
games. Right.
If you're in a game that's real aggressive, you can limp in with aces and kings. Hope for a raise from some of those aggressive players and re-raise. If you're in a passive game and you limp in with aces, well, six calling passive players might just, call you.
Just limp in.
Yeah.
Right.
And then your ace is pretty much going up in flames. Pocket kings here for seat 7. Tony's got kings and he's raising it up.
$275.
Makes it $275 to go.
And we're not going to see a flop here.
No, Mike's not going to call that one. I don't think. Let's see. Nope. See, and Mike throws away that ace. Not even a problem. I want to thank everybody for the emails. Really do appreciate them. Like I said, it keeps the show interactive, keeps it fun for us, and hopefully helpful for you guys. If we don't always answer all your questions on the air, it's because obviously we have to do the play-by-play for the show. So keep them coming.
Yeah, tonight is usually the most heavily watched show of each week, really heavily trafficked. So, trying
Button, yeah. Button moves over to seat 4. Small blind is $25. That's Mike. Big blind is Gore. That's $50. And under the gun is Tony. He's not going to play. Action moves over to David Kim. He's not going to play either. Now it's over to Jonas. And he's going to make it $300 with 9-6 offsuit in somewhat
position.
Middle position here.
Now, Francisco's got a king jack of hearts, and he's going to call. Well, Jonas might think that he's going to outskill some of these players, and he's going to outplay some of them. But sometimes when you get kind of recreational players, you just kind of lay back and wait for big hands.
It's hard to outplay players that just aren't paying attention.
Well, Jonas is going to lead in here for 400. Queen deuce deuce here, and I don't know if Francisco's going to get involved in this, but we've seen players say call this flop with king jack of hearts. Some players aren't necessarily professionals, and that's why it's sometimes hard to bully a table around with inferior pre-flop holdings.
Well, especially when you're out of position. The funny thing is, you'll see a player like Francisco take one off. Just, why not? I'm going to take one off.
Alan do it all the time.
I'm going to take one off.
Right.
And the problem with that is, obviously, the odds of him improving his hand are very slim, but Jonas is out of position, and he has no idea what he got called with. Remember, the flop's queen deuce deuce.
Right. Button's going to move over here to seat 5. That's Michael. And I think that Michael's pretty privy to what goes on in the show, Dave. That's why he made that call against Jonas with ace-9. Maybe he thought he was bullying him around.
Well, the best players in the world are there. I mean, I'm not saying Michael's the best player in the world. What I'm saying is those good players are aware of what their image is. They're aware of how the other players see them, and they adapt accordingly.
5 players.
Limped around here. 5-way action. Queen 10 deuce, couple diamonds. Doesn't look like it hit in. Well, Francisco's got 7-10. Middle pair gets checked around. The turn's a 4 of hearts. Let's see if Jonas might lead out with 7s here. The flop did get checked around, and the turn was a 4 of hearts, and he is going to bet. He's going to bet 150 here. Alan is going to call. He's got a gut shot to the 3.
Alan's calling with a gut shot to the 3?
4 of hearts on the turn.
And that's going to keep Francisco in as well.
Yep. Now Tony's got basically second bottom pair. He's going to get away from it. Francisco's got the best hand here.
What is Alan calling with?
He's got a gut shot to the 3.
That's it?
Yep. And the river here is a king. It's a 3rd heart, and this one might just get checked all the way down.
400.
And Alan's going to bluff at it. He's going to bluff at it. He's representing hearts. What a play by Alan here.
Well, let's see if it works.
Sometimes we see this on the river, Dave, that Alan, when he missed a draw, he'll bet on the river.
Well, it's pretty much the only time Alan will bluff.
Oh, but you know what? Unfortunately for him, I think Francisco's going to call him with the 10 here. Wow.
I knew it. Let me see that hand, please.
And
Jonas is actually saying that he would have called Alan. He thought Alan was full of it.
yeah,
If he folds, I'll call Alan like this.
there you go.
I know I have Alan.
And Jonas actually asked to see that hand, and sometimes, again, that doesn't necessarily get me all riled up. It used to get one of our former commentators, Shirley Rosario, really. She would get into a tizzy when she heard that at the table.
Well, no, I mean, it gets me riled up if somebody's not in the hand. Like in that case, let's say Kirk were to say, hey, I'd like to see that hand.
Right.
I'd be like, Kirk, come on, buddy, that's not right.
Yeah, but again, though, I mean, the purpose of that rule, Jonas knows that Alan and Francisco aren't colluding with each other.
No, of course not, but there's also a matter of he was in the hand, and it's for his own, I mean, he just wanted to know if he was right. And I think that's okay. I have no problem with that at all.
Limped around here. 7-way action, $350 pot. 10, 9, 6. We got 10, 8 there for seat 7. He's going to check it from up
That's the
front.
case 10, by the way.
Wow, and two other people have top pair.
Yeah, Alan's got Jack 10, Mike's got Jack 10.
Alan leads out here for 300. Again, seat number 7's got 8-10 over there. So he's got top pair and a gut shot.
Yeah.
Francisco's going to call with a gut shot to the 7.
How about Russ's hand there? Queen Jack there.
Yeah, he's open-ended. Well, Russ is actually away from the table. He's out of the hand. His hand is dead.
Well, there you go.
Gore makes the call here with Jack 7, and if he catches an 8, he would have a straight. And let's see what Tony's going to do. Yeah, and Tony sees all this dead money, but he's just going to call. I thought Tony might check raise there. And we've got a huge pot here going here. It's about a $1,600 pot to the turn. The two Jack 10s are in the lead. The turn is a 9.
That changes nothing, folks.
See if Alan's going to fire out again. But now it looks like Tony is reaching for chips after he check called with 8-10. And he's going to throw a $450 bet into about a $1,600 pot here.
Like the bet, and Alan's going to get away from it. Can't blame Alan at all. And you wonder if anybody else can even call this. I'm surprised Gore called, actually, with Jack 7. Nice bet by Tony. He's kind of representing the 9.
I guess the other Jack 10 folded the hand on the flop. Because I thought I saw two Jack 10s.
There were two
in
Jack 10s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Mike, actually, and Michael folded away, threw it away. Didn't want to get involved.
Now, is Gore going to try to represent something? It's
Well-
a really weak bet here. You got to figure, if a guy had a 9, wouldn't you want to protect against this board a little bit more? And he's going to pop it up here, Dave, with a straight draw.
Now you notice here, Gore's making a move against Tony. Now, Tony is a seasoned pro.
Right.
Tony plays a lot of poker tournaments. He plays high no-limit cash games. He'll play this level and even higher and a little bit smaller all the time. And that's who Gore is picking on.
Gore's made it 800 more. So the pot now is 2,800. 800 to call, and Tony's going to make the call. Wow, Gore needs to catch a Jack here or an 8, and the river is an ace. Oh, man, is Gore going to have to bluff at it again?
And does he have enough? No.
I think he just gave up on it, Dave. I mean, at that point, the pot was about over 3,000. It looked like Gore might have only had about 1,500 left.
I think you're actually, well, he's got 500 more behind. But
Well, that would have been one hell of a bluff on the river.
I mean, that's a heck of a call. I mean, with 10-8, I mean, gosh,
Yeah.
what can you beat? With 10-8 there, what can you beat?
Yeah,
Nothing. I mean, you can only beat a pure bluff.
yeah.
Amazing.
Well, I also want to point out to everyone, as SP Surf and Michael, I think, put in the opening post on 2+2, that Ken and James was on, I guess now, or you can see the end of it, on the WPT tonight, Legends of Poker.
So actually probably on right now, isn't he?
Yeah, right, but it starts at 6 Pacific time, so it's just probably at the conclusion of the show right now. And it does repeat tonight and several times, you know.
Yeah. There you go. Ken James, the myth, the legend, live at the bike favorite.
Pocket queens here for Michael, and seat 8's got pocket 10s in the small blinds.
Interesting.
$250 raise here by Michael with the ladies. Now let's see how the small blind's going to make a smooth call here with 10s. Now Francisco's got a little suited connector. He's going to play as well. 750 three-ways, seat 5 pre-flop raiser. Here we go to the flop.
It's just
Well, ace, ace, 5 here. Queens are still good.
Now, a lot of people look at that flop with queens and they go, oh, I hate the flop. That's not a bad flop for queens at all. You're much more scared of one ace than two aces. And Mike is going to bet this queens.
Yeah.
It gets checked around to him. He's going to bet 300. David calls
Yeah, he
300.
quickly calls. Pocket 10s quickly calls the 300, and that's got to, maybe set something going off in your head there on seat 5. Here we go to the turn. The turn's a 4. Now, if he checks here on the turn, wow, look at this. Now, David's going to come out and lead on the turn. He's going to bet 500 here.
Now, he's betting 500 into about a $1,200 pot.
Yeah.
Actually, more than that, more like a $1,500 pot. He's only betting about a third of the pot.
And Queens is just going to fold it there. Wow. Well, I mean, that is definitely a way that you can play trip aces. As opposed to check raising, you might check call and lead out there. You know?
It's almost like he's leading out with a controlled pot, like almost trying to control the size of the pot. Because he's scared if he checks, he might be faced with a $1,200 bet. I mean, obviously, when you see aces out there, it's the ultimate scare card. But usually when you see two of them, you're not quite as scared.
Another email here from Tony D. He says, you guys are a godsend and literally an answer to my prayers. I don't have cable, so I don't ever get to watch poker on television. But I do have the internet, and it's like watching a poker school once a night. Well, we pointed out last night, Dave, I don't think you learn anything by watching televised poker.
No, it's entertaining.
Right.
But you're not learning anything, no.
4-way action here, limped around.
So that's $200 pot, folks. Remember, this is a 25-50 blind game. It's a big game tonight.
10-5-9 with a couple clubs. It gets checked around. The turn's a 6.
Allen is the best hand now here with Queen 6.
Jonas has position, and he has a gut shot here to the 8.
250.
Actually, Jonas did not have position.
Yeah.
The button's going to bet 250 here out of seat 8. David. Again, he's going to bet here. He doesn't think anybody wants it. And Francisco's going to make the call here with a pair of fives.
Yeah, and David is drunk dead, by the way.
River's a king. About a $900 pot or $800 pot. Francisco checks.
And is David going to fire again? Not really the player you want to bluff.
475.
He's going to bet 475 here.
I mean, I always kind of smack myself in the head. One of the things I really get pissed off about. And look, Francisco folds it,
Yeah.
but still, I don't really like the bet. The only reason I'll say it is one of the things I get mad at myself more than anything is when I sit in a game and I do not pay attention. I don't focus on who I'm playing against.
Yep.
I mean, you just don't want to bluff a calling station.
Thank you, sir.
You know, that's not where you're going to make money.
Well, I mean, to counter that, though, if you've got a guy, say, calling with bottom pair or any piece of it, and now another overcard comes on the river, you might be able to make a small enough bet where you're not risking that much, say a 1/3 pot size bet, to get him off of a pair of fives.
No, it's definitely...
You know, especially with another overcard coming on the river. Dude.
Right.
King.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, you just looked at... you looked at that river there with Allen. I mean, the king of hearts comes on the turn, and this guy still calls with 10, with Jonas behind him.
Four-way action here, limped around, $200 pot, jack, 5-4.
But once again, nobody has anything. I mean, this flops are like missing everybody.
Turns a jack, that changes nothing. Looks like Francisco's got the best hand here with a pair of fours.
6-7 a diamond.
Checked around again, and the river's a queen, and Gore backs into the best hand, but Allen's got a better kicker. Allen's king-queen is going to play here.
Yep.
And he's going to come out and bet.
150.
Not a bad bet there. Figure if someone else has got a queen, my king is going to play
You
here.
might get paid off by a 5 here.
Well, Gore's going to make the call.
Yeah.
And Allen's going to take it down there.
Nice bet by Val. Real nice bet by Allen.
Yep.
Thank you for the email. Philip Galgert sent us an email saying that I was right when Gore, the way Gore should have played that hand with trip eights. Thank you, appreciate it.
2,000.
Well, we talk about, a small mistake, but it's still $1,000 is $1,000, right?
Hey, if you're a professional poker player, or even if you're an amateur poker player and you want to improve your game, everybody's game, including ours, including Jonas, including Gore's and Moe's, we all have leaks.
Another interesting email here by Victor Sema. He says, regarding that hand where Jonas came over the top of Mike with Jack 7, what if Jonas leads again with a heavy bullet on the turn? Does Mike figure, boy, he's betting into me twice with my tight image. Do I need to lay ace-9 down?
Yeah, I mean, depending on how much money he has,
yeah,
it's a real tough call.
Right.
I mean, because Jonas is clearly trying to represent a high pocket pair.
We got a little raise here by Jonas, 7-10, 250, and he's going to get 3 callers, so it's a $1,000 pot here. And Allen's brought trip deuces, and he's on the button. And Jonas is going to lead here. He's going to bet 800. Let's see how Allen's going to play it. No one else has anything here. And Allen's pretty short, Dave. Oh, and actually, we're getting word that he's actually another 2,000 behind.
Wow, so he's got pretty close to, I want to say he's probably got about $3,000.
3,500, something like that. He's going to make the call.
Of course.
And the funny thing here, is that Allen could make this call with 7-8. You never know.
Yeah, he's on the button. Now, if you're out of position, it's a lot harder to play this hand. But on the button, hey, that's not a bad play.
Pot is now $2,600.
Now the question is, what does Jonas do? Is he going to even bother firing again?
Now is he going to get involved here again? Could Allen have just called with the 8? He picks up probably the worst card that he could possibly see here on the turn. And Jonas is going to bet again. And he's going to put Allen, I believe, all in. And Allen immediately moves all in.
Yeah.
Jonas bet, I think, 1,500.
And Jonas knows. Look at him. He's shaking his head. He knows. Yeah. He hasn't even seen Allen's hand yet. He knows.
775.
It's 775 more. And Jonas is... It's 775 more for about a $5,000 pot. Jonas makes the call. And Allen's going to take it down there with the trip deuces. That's a horrible turn card for Jonas. Because, again, you think, well, Allen could be calling me with an 8, right?
I guess. I guess. I mean, obviously, it's so much easier for us in the booth than we're out there. And like I said, I mean, Jonas, I have about as much respect for anybody's game as I really have a lot of respect for his game. I think when Allen smooth calls there, I mean, I think he's got a deuce. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's easy for me in here. I don't know.
Well, the other thing you might do is actually check the turn there, and if say Allen had 7-8 or something like that, or even just an 8, Allen's that player that's not going to bet when an overcard appears. He would probably check behind you on the turn.
Well, I mean, betting on the turn there, you're only
Right.
going to get called by a deuce.
Right.
I think when Jonas looks at that hand and he thinks about it, I think he'll realize that he overplayed his hand, probably misplayed it on the turn there.
Got a raise here by seat 7 with King Jack offsuit, or seat 8, and Jonas is going to call and Francisco's going to call. 750 to the flop. Well, looks like Jonas outflopped everyone here.
Yeah,
Check,
you're right.
check. And he gets checked around. Turns an ace. Let's see if David represents now. Wow, I'm surprised he didn't fire out here, Dave.
Well, and Francisco's got a gut shot still.
And the river's a jack, and David backs into the best hand. And now, he's going to bet. He bets 175.
And Jonas a little gun shy here. He didn't take a fight. Didn't fire at that pot at all.
If you play King Jack like that, say you raise it up and you're out of position against 2 players, the flop gets checked around. Now an ace comes on the turn. I mean, you pick up a draw now. Can't you use that as a scare card?
Well, it depends. Remember, he's out of position. The problem with it was, oftentimes you're raising with King Jack in middle position to buy yourself the button. And when 2 players behind you call, well, you're kind of paralyzed.
Yeah.
Because you realize, okay, the first flop you checked it, everybody checked behind you, realize, oh shoot, okay, they didn't bet, they probably have a big hand, a big ace. Now the ace comes and you go, oh, they might have an ace.
Post here on 2+2 by Jets Q4. It says regarding Jonas, wanted to see the hand and know if he was right. Walk out there and smack that bleep in the back of the head.
Yeah, I mean, I have a real problem when somebody always asks to see hands.
Yeah.
I've probably seen Jonas play about 100 hours of poker, and I've played another 100 hours of poker with him. That might be the second time I've ever seen him do that. So,
C8's going to bring this one in for a raise again with Queen Jack of diamonds to 250. Jonas calls with ace 7 of clubs, and C5's in there with pocket 7s. And the flop misses everyone. Michael is good here with 7s. Let's see if he's going to lead out here.
I tell you, talk about a cold deck. These flops are not hitting anybody.
Gets checked around on the flop. The turn's a king. Now let's see if David represents here. Another time he's got a pretty big draw.
Well, now he's got a draw. I think he needs to bet this, and he will.
And he's going to bet. He bets 250 here. Yeah, and look at that. Mike is not going to get involved
Yeah.
with the king appears.
No, it's pretty easy.
So again, that's a perfect time. I think if an ace, a king come there, he can make that bet.
I mean, you understand what I was saying that before, when he raises there and he gets 2 callers behind him, good chance one of his opponents behind him have an ace.
Yeah. And we're getting word that seat number 2, Francisco, is going to play 2,100 behind. Let's take a look at another chip count
Wow.
here.
Almost $57,000 on the table now, folks.
Let's take a look at the differences now. Again, Russ has not played many hands, and he's still the big winner so
Yeah.
far.
Tony now up to $3,700. Wow.
Took that money from Gore.
Allen up a couple $1,000s now. Jonas and Francisco are big losers so far.
Francisco quickly down over 7,000.
He lost 5,000 on the first hand he played.
Seat number 7 is going to bring this one in for 150 under the gun. This is, I think, the first pre-flop raise we've seen from him. He's got big slick suited.
A couple of their aces out there. Are they going to get involved? That's what you wonder here.
Wow,
Looks
look at
that.
Michael. He's going to call it 8 deuce of diamonds in the small blind.
Wow.
Gore's going to call it ace 8. 5-way action, $750 in the pot.
Well,
what
what
a flop for ace king.
Wow.
Top pair, nut flush draw. And is Mike going to get involved? He's got another flush draw. Tony's going to bet a weak bet. He bets 300 here. And look at David. David's got an ace here. He's going to make the call. And let's see what Mike does. He makes the call as well.
Talk about reverse implied odds, folks.
And Gore is in there. That's the case ace.
Oh,
This is
man.
unbelievable. 2,000 to the turn. And the turn is the flush card. We got 2 people in there with the flush.
Oh, man.
And Mike has checked it from up front.
Oh, this could get
Oh,
ugly.
look at this. And Tony didn't bet, Dave. And the river is a 9.
Wow, and look at this. Ace-10 has made a straight, folks.
Wow.
Right?
No, it's
No,
not,
he's not.
a
Sorry,
straight.
okay.
Mike's going to come
I
out
got
and
so
bet.
excited. I was like, wow.
The pot was 2,000. Mike bets 800 here on the river. Mike has bet 800 here on the river. And again, I talk about the fact that, Tony might raise here a value raise and Mike might call. But if Tony had actually bet the turn and gotten Mike to check raise him, he would have won more money in this hand.
It's not even a question.
It's not even a question. Because
what
he
you
checked the nuts on the turn, he did not give himself the chance to build a big pot up
If
here.
he bets 800 on the turn, and Mike check raises him, then Mike's got to lead out on the turn.
Look at this. He's going to make a mini raise here. Well, no, he's not. He's going to make it 15. He's actually making a pretty good-sized raise here. It was an $800 bet. He's going to make it $1,500 more here.
A pretty easy laydown for David here, I think.
Well, the pot right now, I want to say, is $6,100. $1,500 for Mike to call.
Well, right now it's actually $2,300 for David to call.
Right. Well, I wasn't even considering David in the hand here. I can't imagine he's going to play. But it's a $6,100 bet,
Well,
$1,500 to call.
He looks like he's going to call, though. I mean,
are we missing something? He's just got ace-10, right?
yeah. I mean, what can he beat? I mean, you think of the hands out there. If somebody had an ace here, he could only beat ace-8 and lower. That's it.
Again, I think that Mike might call, but there's no way that he's going to re-raise.
Now, David's going to throw it away here, and Mike is probably going to do a crying call at best.
It's $1,500 more for about a $6,000 pot here, folks. And that's what
he
he's
said.
saying.
Because what, do you got ace, king of diamonds?
And he makes the call here, and I got to tell you, Tony's going to take down this pot, but I think he left some money on the table again, right?
Definitely. Yeah, and Mike says, nice. And Mike's got to call it. The pot's $6,300, $1,500 to go.
Right.
He's getting 4-1 on his money.
Right.
He has to call it flush.
Yeah.
But you're 100% correct there. With the small bet on the turn, on the flop,
Right.
the pot was about $2,000, right? Okay, so we're looking at a $2,000 pot. If he bets about 800 on the turn, and then it goes around the Mike, and
Yeah.
then Mike check raises to say 2,000.
Right.
Well, then you smooth call him. Then you could. I'm fine with the smooth call. Then he smooth call because then he's got to fire on the river.
The funny thing there, though, is at that point, we're playing a deep stack game, but if Mike makes a $2,000 check raise, when you put that money in, the pot is now about $7,000. I mean, okay, you can smooth call him, or you can move it all in. Mike only has about another $3,000 left. I still think he's going to call.
He might. I mean, but obviously there's a million different ways to play.
Right.
You can smooth call it. You can re-raise him again.
Right.
But you can smooth call it because you're in position on him, and then in all likelihood on the river, especially if you hem and haw with the call.
Right.
And then on the river, when he fires at you, you then raise all in.
Yeah.
But at that point, Mike has committed himself.
Yeah.
Basically, Tony let Mike off the hook there.
Yeah. Raise here on the button by Mike with ace-7 of clubs.
Wow.
Gore is going to call with a gap-suited connector here.
250.
Email here from Richard Young saying, I've stopped playing during these hours because I enjoy your show so much. Stop playing online, I think he's talking.
You're ruining my online play.
Well, Mike brought this one with the ace-7 here. 10-10-5 on the flop.
Now, Mike, you can always, Richard there, you can always listen to us and play at the same time. And when Bart starts having one of his Bartgasms, just jump on over.
Look at Gore. He's going to steal a small pot. He's going to lead out with nothing, figuring that no one else hit it. And he's going to take it down there with 6-4. You know, again, Dave, I think maybe it's me, but I'm going through another hot flash right now.
Are
The
you?
temperature just keeps going up and down. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, right? Menopause. I'm going through menopause. It goes up and down. Yeah, menopause. You know, M-E-N. Clever.
I don't get it.
Oh.
Are you having a hot flash again?
Me, maybe. Is it me?
I'm comfortable. Very comfortable.
Pocket kings here for seat 7. And that is Tony.
And we say it all the time. Sometimes, we said it before, if you want to win a big pot, sometimes you have to build it yourself.
Right.
Make it 500.
Tony's going to raise here to 500 with kings. I mean, again, Tony left everybody off the hook because everybody checked the turn. So that's one more street that he didn't get to bet money in. Whether he got one caller or two callers. he bets, and maybe even seat number 7 calls again with ace-10, and now Mike comes really over the top of the flush
I'm
draw.
not saying you bet a big bet, but
Yeah.
if you bet somewhere in the range of $600 to $1,000,
Yeah.
he might get called by David, then a raise from Mike,
Yeah.
and then you're in a spot to play the hand how you want to play it, and then
Absolutely.
David probably gets rid of his ace-10. But
Yeah. Tony's going to take it down there with the kings.
and it's it's nights like these. I mean, I got to throw this at you, Bart, because it drives me nuts. It's not like now Tony is obviously doing very well. He's up
Right.
a lot of money, right? But it's not like he's going to go up. Let's say he finishes the night, he's up $4,000 or $6,000 tonight,
Right.
and he's happy. He puts it in his little journal. He's excited about it. But these are the nights you've got to realize that you probably left $4,000 or $5,000 on the table.
Yeah.
Situations like that where you have the nut flush over somebody else's, that just doesn't happen all day, every day.
Yeah, flush over flush.
You have to maximize those days because there are going to be days where you have the smaller flush.
Right.
There are going to be days when you're not hitting your draws. Somebody else sucks out on you. $150 to the flop, folks. Flop is 863 Rainbow.
Limp
And
around.
I believe, I can't see seat 2's hand. Francisco does not have it in there.
Well, Gore's hit a queen here on the turn, and now he's going to bet in position. He's going to bet 150 here, and he's going to take it down.
You got to make sure you can get those players' cards in their windows as quick as possible.
Button's going to move over here to seat 8. We're into our first hour, Dave. 2 hours left of the show.
Yeah, I love this game.
Yeah.
Big no-limit hold'em game. You and I don't have much experience playing at these levels. I've played 2040 no-limit hold'em. I played 2550, probably a grand total of about, I want to say probably 40 hours.
But
at
we've
this high.
played our fair share of 10-20 and 5-10, and sometimes the
definitely.
5-10 game plays. We've really played our fair share of unrestricted buying, no limit.
No, yeah, without it, definitely. I mean, I played once on this show. It was a short game, and I played probably a grand total of about 25 hours during the World Series of Poker over at the Bellagio. Now, it was interesting. They actually had 2 games there that was really interesting. They had this game, which was a 25-50 game with an unrestricted buying game, but they also had a 25-50 game with 25 antes from each player.
Wow.
And that game plays huge. And Mo was actually talking about trying to make this game manage.
Russ has made a little raise here with ace-jack, it looks like, to 200. Gore's going to call with queen 10 offsuit, and Francisco's into with king 8. Three-way action here, $600 pot. 10-9-6. Gore's got top pair. Well, Russ is going to make the continuation bet. Let's see how Gore's going to play this one, Dave.
And Francisco's got a gut shot straight draw.
Russ is going to bet 500 here, and Gore's going to make the call. I think Gore's probably calling to see what Russ is going to do from up front here on the turn.
Yeah,
Turn
rarely
to
does
5.
Russ fire 2 bullets if he missed. He'll fire 1 bullet, but I'd almost guarantee you that he's going to check this here.
There it is.
Yeah.
He checks.
And that's just Hollywood Russ. And that's like a lot of players. A lot of players will bet one time with ace-king, ace-queen, ace-jack.
Right.
And if they miss, okay. Which is why oftentimes, whether you hit this flop or not, you can call him one time.
Gore's going to throw a little, looks like a $700 bet or $800 bet here.
And Hollywood Russ can't really, I mean, he's got to throw this away. And I know you often like to make that play, where a player that's somewhat predictable, sometimes you'll just smooth call them and see what they do on the turn. And if they check to you, you can take the pot away from them.
Russ is going to fold. And I believe that Tony might be getting up here out of seat 7.
Little hit and run action there, huh?
And, sometimes people have actually told me, they say, Bart, well, how do you guys commentate in this game? You don't have an experience in the 25-50 no-limit game. It's the same game. It's the same concept with stack sizes. It's just they're playing for higher denomination chips. It's an unrestricted game.
Yeah.
If I buy in for $1,500 in a 5-10 game, it's the same as somebody who buys in for $4,500 in this game, right?
Poker is poker. And
Or not $4,500, $7,500 in this game.
poker is poker.
Yeah.
Not only is poker poker, but all the players we see at this game, they all play 10-20 and they all play 5-10 because it's an
And we've all
unrestricted buying
played with
game.
most of them.
Actually, I can say that I've played with everyone at this table except for seed 8, David Kim. And Tony's going to get up with well over $12,000 there.
But again, we talk about
Probably
how
should have
much
been
more.
16.
Yeah, how much more.
Well, whatever's Mike got in front of him, probably should have all Mike's money.
And the funniest thing is that Mike, we talk about little pre-flop mistakes. He made his flush with 8 deuce of diamonds.
Yeah.
Should he even be in the hand?
Mistake begets mistake.
Yeah.
We said all the time, I go, what do you really want to hit with 8 deuce of diamonds?
4-way action here. limped around. King 10 Jack. We got a couple of weak kings in here.
Yeah.
I think was Jonas in the blind here with this hand? Can't quite tell.
No, he was not in the.
Wow.
No, he was not in the blind. He limped in with King 3
Turns
and
an
decided not to bet it.
150.
Well,
And
now
now
he's
he's
going to
gonna-
bet 150.
He puts a little bet in there.
Now Kirk is in the blind with King 4, and Francisco's going to call here. Francisco's made 2 pair on the turn here, Dave. He's got 8s and 10s.
And look how tight Kirk is. Kirk was in the blind with King 4, didn't bet it on the flop, didn't even bet on the turn, and just giving up
And
on
look
it.
at Russ, he's going to make the call with an open-ended straight draw with a 3 flush out there with the 5 of clubs. Now, we can see he's got the only club, but are you kidding me?
Yeah, but it's an open-ended straight draw, but if a queen were to hit,
And anybody
it's
with an
worthless.
ace, yeah. I mean, worst draw with worst draw. Here we go to the river, and the river is a club, and it gets checked around here.
And Russ has got the best
Russ
hand.
is going to show that garbage down there on the river.
Take it down, Russ.
Nice hand there, Russ. I just, again, I don't necessarily mean to attack these players personally, but like you say, queen comes, you've got an ace to contend with, and you've got the 5 of clubs there in your hand. Now, he actually made a straight, but it was a club on the river, so he didn't know if it was good. The only thing he might be comfortable seeing there is an offsuit 7 on the river, right?
I guess he probably won't even bet that. He probably just checks it down and hopes it gets checked down.
Wow.
I mean, I guess sometimes you look at it and go, well, the pot's 150. He calls. The pot's 450, 150 to call. I'm getting 3 to 1. Why not? Sometimes you got to realize, what do I really want to catch
Yeah.
here?
And another point, too, cold cash on 2+2 made up there, is, if you're against another flush there, obviously the chances of another diamond coming on the river are rare, but what if it does?
Yeah.
What if you check the turn and another diamond came on the river and he made no money?
Oh, yeah. If another diamond comes off there,
Yeah.
it probably goes check, check. He bets $1,000 and nobody calls.
Right.
350.
We got a live straddle here by Gore, and Seed 8 is going to bring this one in under the gun for 350 with pocket 6s. Gore's got 3-4 suited here. Does he want to take this heads up out of position?
I would agree with you on this one.
Actually, I'm going to take this seat, Frank. You can come right here.
His rings.
I think we're going to play a little musical chairs here. Gore's trying to figure out if he wants to make this call here.
Does he actually have World Series bracelets? No. You're right. Which one do you want? Small. World Series circuit.
One of the most miserable.
Hey, Gore is going to make the call.
Yeah, he is.
And he still hates me because I laid down. He had a
And we got 6s versus 3-4 here, folks.
Yeah.
two players.
And now,
Well, ace, king, ace here.
you wonder, can Gore take this away? Now, he's out of position, though. That's the only problem with the hand.
Well, look at this. It goes check, check, and now Gore's hit a pair. He checks it again, and now David's going to bet. He bets 300. Now, if you're Gore, you really can only beat something like Queen Jack here. You can't beat any other overpair here
Yeah.
to the 4.
Yeah, I'm surprised Gore called. I mean, I have no problem calling a raise with 3-4 suited if I'm in position on a player. But out of position, it just makes it too difficult to play the hand.
Yeah. And Mo is coming into the game. He's over there in seat 2. Jonas has moved over to seat 7. And Francisco's moved over to seat 9. So
Right.
bear with us here, this hand. We have the names up incorrectly.
Yeah, you got a nice straddle, Glenn. Nice shot.
It's always fun to, talk about these hands with players that we respect on the table. And, I'm sure that we'll probably discuss this with Jonas after the show about that hand with the ace, king, and diamonds, Dave.
Yeah.
I
I
can tell you,
don't
he's-
think there's really any discussion.
Yeah, I got to tell you, he wouldn't check the turn.
It's a terrible check.
Oh,
I mean, it's,
man. Yeah.
you say it over and over again. If you want to win a big pot, you got to put money in the pot.
Live straddle here by Jonas, and he's picked up pocket 8s in the straddle spot. He's going to make it 400 more. Now, Mo posted behind, and Mo and Jonas go way, way back, Dave. And we're talking about almost as long as No Limit Hold'em has been spread here at the bike, these two have gone head to head.
Hey, Gore had a great idea for me, actually. Gore wanted to get all the original Live at the Bike people from the very first show
Yeah.
and have a reunion.
Well, I'm trying to think
show.
of who are some of the people that we don't see. Barry Woods actually came a little bit later on. He wasn't
Yeah.
one of the originals.
He actually said it was like Gore, it was KK, Jason.
West Hollywood Henry, right? Yeah, it was Fat Boy was one of the original
Yeah,
ones
Fat
as well.
Boy.
Right.
It
We have
was,
to take a look way back in the archives.
Yeah, it was like the very first show, and it would be fun
Yeah.
to get a reunion and get them all back
Yeah.
here. So once again, Francisco is now in seat 9. Jonas is in seat 7. Mo is in the game again, and Tony is up. I mean, it's amazing, though. People actually they think the pots are just going to grow on their own.
When did I call you a tight player?
Gore's got pocket aces here in the small blind in seat 6.
Yeah, that was a question.
Oh, okay, no.
That was a question, right, Alan?
No, I always play my game.
It was a question.
And he's going to bet. He's going to make it 300 to go here.
At the end, as if to indicate a question mark.
All right, I'll take it.
You raise? Yeah.
David's going to make the call here with Jack-7 suited. And Allen's got Jack-7 suited of hearts. So aces against 2 Jack-7s here, Dave.
What are the odds? 2 players are calling with crap hands.
$900 here to the flop. Wow, and Gore flops the set. I think he checked it from up front here, Dave. It's a rainbow board. The turn's a 10, and it gives David a backdoor spade draw now. Gore's going to come out and bet here.
Not a big fan of checking that, I got to be honest with you.
You want me to call? Yeah.
Well,
I would want him to call also.
Good call, Alan.
I mean, some people say, well, why wouldn't you check it? It's a rainbow board. Once again, the pot's not going to grow on its own.
Right.
You've got to hope that the players just don't believe you.
Right.
You've got to hope that, you put a bet in there. Maybe they'll make a move on you. I'm not sure if David is. I know Allen's not going to make a move, but David
Right.
might. Who knows?
the funny thing there, and a cagey player there, might even pop the turn with a spade draw there. You never know. What I was going to say was we've actually had some people, write into us and say, well, I always check top set, Dave, especially if it's a non-scary board. Let the other players catch up. And
I love playing with those players.
Yeah.
Leave me in there with my gut shot and let me get really lucky on you, okay?
Yeah.
I only need to get lucky once to break you. I mean, I love that stuff. I mean, you got to understand also, okay, Gore raised it out of the blind with aces. The flop comes out ace, 6, deuce, rainbow. Okay, you've got Allen in the hand, and I don't know about David. If you check it, who is going to bet it? Who do you expect to bet that hand for you?
We had a $250 raise here by Gore. Interesting post here by Baron Bangor Toth. He says, talking about Tony in seat 7, he didn't really leave that much money on the table. You can only say he left one hand's worth of money on the table. Well, yeah, but that one hand was $4,000. I'm not talking about the order of cards.
Well, I think he's saying he would have forever changed the order of the deck and how the money shifted around. Granted, he might have made more. Maybe he would have lost thousands because of those alterations.
What alterations?
Well, he's saying that theoretically, if the hand was played differently, well, then the cards are done differently, and everything else changes in the future.
Yeah, but if
the butterfly effect.
No, but if he bets the turn, the cards don't change.
But later on, the next hand changes. The next hand after that changes. It's the butterfly effect, Bart.
No, but
follow me here.
What I'm saying is that no one folded or no one called. The cards don't change in that situation if he bets the turn or if he checks the turn.
Well, if he bets the turn, maybe somebody folds and they throw their cards in differently. Hey, I'm just trying to tell you what Baron wrote here, okay?
Jonas is going to bet here with Ace-Jack.
You've never heard of the butterfly effect?
I guess so. You're right, but
every flap of butterfly wings affects the next moment in life and forever affects everything.
But we're not talking about the fact that he left more money on the table from other hands. We're talking about that one hand. He left $5,000 on the table from that one hand. I'm not talking about other hands.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of what he left on the table or not, I mean, my whole point was, oftentimes people look at a journal, they look at their wins and losses, and they go, oh, wow, I had a good night here and a bad night here. And if I'm Tony and I look at that hand, I go, no, you know what, tonight was not a good night. I didn't play well.
Yeah.
I happened to have ace-king and I flopped a monster, and I turned even a bigger monster. But to me, I'm annoyed with myself because I feel like I really should have won a lot more money. Sometimes my best nights of poker are actually when I lose $1,000.
Yeah.
Because if I had played badly, I would have lost $6,000.
I want to be able to see you better.
It's one of those things. If you're a professional poker player, or even you're an amateur, you really cannot judge how you play based on results. Really independent of results is the way to look at it.
Limped around here.
I mean, Barron's put some really strange posts out there, but that might have topped the cake. You're still wondering about it, aren't you?
I'm still wondering, but we are a big fan of Baron. He's one of the original viewers.
Yes.
Maybe we can get an original viewer table. Jonas is going to come out and bet here at 300, and he's going to fire in here. It gets checked around to him. He's in position, and oftentimes a player will do that when an ace is on board. But Allen's got ace-10. You got to think he's going to call here.
Good call.
He makes the call. And Jonas is probably going to be done with it. He might take a card here on the turn. Although you never know, though. Allenby could be calling with something like 5 deuce here. Turns an 8. And Jonas is going to put him to the test. He's going to bet 800.
And that's oftentimes the problem playing against a player like Allen. One of the reasons I just don't really like to bluff him ever is because I never know what he has.
He makes the call here again. He's got over a $2,000 pot, and the river's a 6.
And I got him at just going to check.
Yeah,
he's
Jonas is just going to give up.
not going to fire a third time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I got to tell you, the way to play an Allen is you don't try to run over an Allen. It's more of if I have ace jack, ace queen, or ace king there, I just continue betting, and I make him pay me the entire way.
Email here from Andrew Lichenberger, saying that there are so many hands that could have called a small bet on the turn with that ace king of diamonds, like we talked about, maybe the ace 10, and then a big check raise with 8 deuce of diamonds opens up so many possibilities.
Yeah.
I remember the other day you were cheering you for even.
I mean, especially with the scare. I mean, the turn was a jack. I mean, the board was like, what, ace jack? I want to say ace queen jack, was it? I mean, somebody could have had a straight there even.
I gotta tell you, and the other thing too, just from my own eyes, the way that went off pre-flop with the weak bet there.
I mean, post-flop.
Yeah, post-flop. Where the weak bet on the flop with ace king of diamonds, if I, for some reason, were in there with 8 deuce of diamonds and I would make my flush on the turn, I'd lead out.
Yeah, you might.
I'm going to lead out. Because I don't think maybe no one's going to bet. Nobody did bet the turn. Now, for other reasons that happened.
Yeah.
We had a raise here by Jonas with ace 9. And he's going to bet 400
And the amazing
here.
thing also, you realize there was only
And he
one
takes it
player.
down.
Mike had checked. There's 4 players in the pot at the time.
Right.
Mike had checked, Gore had checked, and there was only one player behind Tony there
Right.
when he checked, which makes it even worse.
But what I'm saying is if I make a small flush, the way that hand played out on the flop, I'm probably going to bet my small flush on the turn when I hit it, as opposed to trying to go for a check raise when it doesn't look like anyone's got something really big.
Yeah.
And just something to throw out at you.
No.
Could have been played differently.
Definitely a way to play it.
Yeah.
No, because if a couple of players have weak aces, Jack of Diamonds comes out there, they might all check.
Yeah.
Which, and they did, obviously.
David's got pocket jacks here in seat 8. And Jonas is going to raise it up to 300 with King 10 offsuit. He's really opening his game up here. Gore limped him with an ace 10 suited. And David is just going to smooth call here with jacks.
Jonas, did you talk to Mike today? The corporation Mike?
Is Jonas still saying good call, good call, good call, good call?
See if Gore plays this hand out. Jonas has raised it up, and Gore limped in here. He's out of position. He actually has Jonas dominated here.
Man, David's got the best hand by far here, huh?
Gore's not going to play it.
And I don't know if Jonas is going to get involved. Well, he is.
Well, Jonas had raised, and David
Oh,
just
David
made a
just
smooth
moved call. Thank you.
Wow, what a flop that would have been for Gore with ace 10 of spades.
Yeah, and
unbelievable.
Yeah, look at Gore. Gore wants to go all
And look
in.
at this. Jonas bets out the ace, and David folds the jacks. Doesn't even get involved with
Yeah.
it. Wow.
I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that at all.
No, I'm just saying that's really interesting how that hand played out there with
Yeah.
Gore with the ace 10 of spades. Unbelievable.
Well, Jonas was the aggressor. He was the pre-flop raiser.
Yeah.
You know, he's representing that. Now he bets. Okay, my jacks are garbage. It's one way to play it. You play it slow, and if you don't, if a flop like that comes out, just get rid of it. It's easy.
Look at Gore's man purse there. He's got the man purse in effect.
He's had that for like a year and a half.
Yeah. He's
Always
got
had the
some
same one.
disinfectant, like that, like clear, that liquid alcohol,
Oh yeah.
and then he keeps his money in there too.
He doesn't keep his money behind him like that.
I'm not calling.
300.
I don't know. Jonas is going to raise it up here again. Really, really aggressive pre-flop. He's got ace 10 offsuit.
I don't know about you. My grandfather taught me never to play. Like, don't put your money in your wallet.
Right,
don't
right.
put your money in your back pocket. Stuff like that.
I never kept my wallet in my back pocket. Always in my side pocket.
I mean, there should be a general rule. Don't put your money in a man purse and keep it behind you like that.
Jonas is raised there, and he took it down again. We did not see it flop.
Nice shot.
Can you have the card? Good card.
Thick one.
Good one.
The button moves over here to seat 3. That's Russ.
Nice show.
So I've gone back and I'm actually reading this post from Baron Vengertoth one more time, and my brain hurts when I read it, I tell you. My brain really hurts. Granted, he might have made more, or maybe he would have lost thousands because of those alterations. But outside the theoretical, you cannot stack those winnings as they don't exist outside of one instance. Oh, it sounds like calculus almost.
I missed the boat on that one, and I think I'm a pretty smart guy personally.
You're the type of person that would think you're smart.
Yeah.
Pocket nines here for Russ.
And Gore has, in the straddle spot,
got a
it
king.
got limped around, and he's going to raise it out of the straddle spot.
What's he got? King what? Can't see his cards.
He's going to raise it up here. It looks like maybe 275 more.
I'm just checking the score.
He's got kings here, Dave. And Francisco's going to make the call with queen 10 off, and that might bring Russ in the hand here on the button.
I think it's an easy call for Russ. Russ has got tons of money.
And he does make the call.
I get 1,000.
And he's going to re-raise. Russ pulls the limp re-raise on the button, Dave, thinking that Gore is full of shit. But Gore's got the goods here with kings. And Gore moves all in. And this should be an easy laydown for Russ.
Yeah. I got to tell you, well, there are players that do the limp re-raise with nines. I'm not sure if Gore's one of them. I might make it more with, say, Mike.
Well, Gore's going to move all in here. We'll see how much more it is. We already have about 3,000 in dead money in the pot. How much more is it? Another 2,000, it looks like?
I never want to fault somebody for being aggressive. So,
Yeah.
I mean, as long as Russ now lays it down, it was a
Yeah.
fine play. He gets the information he was looking for.
Looks like it's about 2,200 more, Dave. It's a $5,200 pot. So if Russ thinks that Gore has overcards, I guess you call, but you could be a huge dog against a bigger overpair here. And I think he's going to make the call here, Dave. He does.
He makes the call.
Wow.
Here. Pot is now $7,000, folks. $7,400 to be
And
exact.
this is a gift here from Russ to Gore,
Yeah.
wrapped in a package and slap a bow on it.
Well, it's Russ's night. Can he hit a 9? Let's see if he hits it. Ronnie called it. Ronnie says a 9 is coming.
Here we go to the flop. Unbelievable.
Never.
Oh, it's a 9! Are you kidding me? Gore can make backdoor diamonds. There's one diamond. And the river's a diamond. And he makes the flush.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Wow. Oh,
man.
my.
That's sickening.
I don't know if Russ is doing that out of jest or what, but I mean, what a flop.
See, now,
That's kind of reminiscent of how Mike Matisow went out in the World Series team. And that
Yeah.
hand with kings against aces, he
Right.
flopped it. Guy made backdoor flush.
right, and then Mike Matisow whined about it for the
Right.
next 6 months.
Right.
How unlucky can I get? Please, all the money was in pre-flop.
Right.
Same thing here.
No, because when you flop the set, I said my only hope is diamond. And then the
Unbelievable.
turn came diamond, and I flipped my cards over. So the dealer knows what to do. And I guess we're good. Thank you. And then you muck your hand like, what's going on? I didn't even see the flush.
Interesting. Now, what I would have loved, because I mean, obviously, I love post-flop play. I don't want to see too much play pre-flop. So the one thing that's really interesting would have been interesting if let's say Russ just calls to flop,
Yeah.
right? Now, knowing Russ, he would probably slow play his top set, right?
Yeah,
So
probably.
maybe only a little money goes in the flop, right?
Yeah.
Then on the turn, maybe he puts in a raise, and I don't think that Gore can get away from it there because he's got the nut flush draw.
Yeah. Wow.
Would have really been interesting.
Well, he didn't have the nut flush. I think a jack of diamond came on the turn, but same thing.
I might not go all in, but we're gonna play.
And that's what he's talking about, exactly. Okay, reading another post from Baron Banger, exactly what I was saying. Yes, he left $5,000 in that one hand, but if he hadn't, he may have set up the cards in such a fashion that he would have lost thousands later on. Who knows? Maybe not. And he admits, obviously, he played it badly, but it isn't necessarily a lost amount of money. Butterfly effect. Bad movie.
So I guess we should never say somebody played this badly, left money on the table, because there's other possibilities where he might pick up, aces against kings later on.
Exactly. Hey. I mean, let's say he bets the turn. That might have had some sort of cataclysmic effect, and maybe an earthquake would have happened.
Right.
And he would have lost his home.
Yeah.
You never know. I mean, do you think a 9...
His
do you
emotion
think
with his right hand might have caused him to have a heart attack when he put the chips out.
Who knows? Exactly. You never know. I mean, Ronnie saying a 9 was going to come out there, clearly, you think it was a coincidence? No way. Clearly, Ronnie willed the 9 out there. Yeah, I think Ronnie wanted Russ to have a lot of pain there. He wanted to flop a set of 9s and still lose the hand.
Wow. Well, we're going to have a collection pot here, Dave. We actually haven't gone over this tonight. The way that we do collection games here, and this is a collection game, not a rake team, at the bike is we have a collection pot, and the winner of this pot pays the collection for each player at the table, which I believe in this game is $12 per half hour. And it might be 11, I'm not sure.
He's gonna help me on this game.
Obviously, very small amount of money considering the stakes they're playing.
Whatever
Yeah.
he wants.
He's sports tech, so I already know.
Live straddle here
I
by
gotta say,
Jonas.
From next week.
I didn't really like the re-raise with the 9s, but I'm okay with that. If you think Gore is making a move, you re-raise, take it down right there. But when Gore then re-raises you all in, you've got to get rid of 9s.
Because the only thing that you can hope is that he might have ace-king there, right?
He's
Hope.
not, come on.
Hope that he has ace-king.
Well, if you think there's a chance he has ace-king, I mean, you almost have to call because the pot is laying you 2-1.
Yeah, but no, but you have to think that he has ace-king probably at least 50% of the time. And I just don't buy that for a
Because
second.
if he doesn't have ace-king, well, then
Yeah.
you're a 4-1 dog.
Exactly. This one looks like it is limped around. Well, we had a raise here. Raise here by seat number 7. Joe. Well, actually, it was Russ that raised with 6-7 here.
And he does not follow through. He's in position,
Yep.
but doesn't bet that flop. And if he bets the flop, he takes it down.
And Jonas is now going to bet with an open-ended straight draw. Yep.
And he's going to take it down.
So Russ raised it up in Jonas' straddle, but did not bet the flop, and Jonas comes out with a semi-bluff on the turn and takes it down.
And if Russ bets that flop, he wins it right there. I mean, you wonder if Russ kind of felt like he got a gift from Francisco, and maybe he didn't think he was worthy, so he wanted to pass the gift on to somebody else.
Again, we talk about putting your player on a range of hands. He wasn't even getting quite was he getting 2-1?
Well, the pot was 5,200. Yeah, actually more than that. Pot was 5,200, 2,200 to call.
He's getting about 2.5 to 1. You've got to think probably, I don't know what the exact odds out of my head, that you've got to put yourself on a coin flip at least maybe 35 to 40% of the time to make that call, right?
I mean, you got to put Gore in a range of chance. Okay, maybe Gore has ace-king 15% of the time.
Right, that's what
maybe
I'm
he's
saying.
got aces 15% of the time,
Yeah.
kings 15% of the time, queens 15% of the time, and jacks the rest. I mean, there's no way he's got. There's no way he's got 7s.
Again, he has to have ace-king in that spot at least probably 35 to 40% of the time, and I just don't buy it. We do know these players pretty well. Allen is going to raise here to 175 with ace-king, and look at David here in the big blind. He's got pocket queens. Now, David has played some hands pre-flop kind of slow, so let's see if he's going to pop it back up here. Now, this is one of Allen's first pre-flop raises of the game, so you wonder if David notices that, and he's under the gun.
And in this case here, the field has already been eliminated. There's no real point in raising, and he's just going to call. Unless you're raising for value. And let's see what happens.
$400 pot to the flop, and there's the ace, all
Bad flop
spades.
for him. Allen's got a king of spades, too. Wow.
Yeah.
David is in really bad shape. David's got 1 out, by the way, to win this hand.
Look at
He's
this,
queen of
Allen.
hearts.
It goes check, check here. Allen's trying to induce a bluff. Turns a 4.
See, now heads up's a little bit different. It's a little bit different, and it's okay. To me, it's okay sometimes to check. And sure enough, he's gotten him to bite.
He's going to bet here. 225 here. Well, do you just smooth call here then, Dave?
I think you raise it up a little bit. I mean, I would raise it up to probably $500 or $600.
And he's going to raise, it looks like.
And that'll probably get the hand over with. That's no big deal, though.
Yeah, there you go.
But you get him to bite one time. Because if Allen calls him, David's going to check the river. You're going to bet it, and it's over anyway. I don't necessarily mind the way you play that hand.
Again, you can email us at liveatthebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions.
I'm going to throw this at you also, Bart, and all our viewers as well. One of the reasons if you're going to limp in with 9s in late position, one of the reasons I don't really like the limp re-raise with 9s in a heads-up situation. Now, with 4 players, it's different. Is because Gore's a pretty good poker player, right?
Right.
If he's making a move and you re-raise him, you're risking $1,000 to win what he's bet, okay? And I think he had raised it to $300 or $400, right? So you're risking $1,000 to win that money. Because if he doesn't have anything, he's just going to throw it away.
Yeah.
But if he has a hand that can beat you, well, then he's going to re-raise you. And then what do you do with 9s? And obviously you saw what Russ did there.
Limped around here. 6-way action. Here we go to the flop. Ace, 3 deuce. We got a weak ace over there for Francisco. He's been kind of remarkably quiet here so far, Dave.
Kirk's got a gut shot.
Gets checked around. The turn's a 3rd diamond. It's a queen. Francisco still has the best hand. Let's see if he leads out with ace-6 now.
Yeah, David's got a gut shot, and he's got the only diamond in the whole entire hand. He's got 5 of diamonds. How can he know that's good?
Well, look at this, though. Jonas has made 2 pairs. He's got queens up, queens and threes, and he's going to come out and bet 300
Oh,
here.
wow, okay.
And Francisco's going to make the call. And it's going to get heads up, and Francisco needs a lot of help. He needs an ace or a 6.
The diamond doesn't come out here. How about a value bet?
Oh, the river's a diamond.
Yeah.
Check by Jonas. And I think Francisco is just going to check right behind. And Jonas is going to take it down there with the 2 pair.
Yeah. And my big question was there, like I said, if just they say, like, you know, yeah, he said you have to put a diamond out there. I can't bet it then.
Right. I guess I understand this butterfly effect thing now.
Yeah, okay, good.
It's kind of a light-hearted post by Baron. I was kind of trying to take it seriously.
No, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, you know.
Butterfly fleck with that. What was that movie? A terrible guy. Ashner. The guy from 70.
Well, they were talking about, though. Have you ever seen the movie Sliding Doors with Gwyneth Paltrow in it?
Yeah.
Back in '98.
See, Sliding Doors is actually a cool movie. That was really good.
Yeah.
The Butterfly Effect was a piece of garbage.
Sliding Doors all about Gwyneth Paltrow missing
Yeah.
2.
Either missing the train or
Yeah,
catching the train.
exactly.
It's actually really. I thought it was a really cool movie.
Doors going to raise it up here to 250. The ace queen on the cutoff.
I'm not a big Gwyneth Paltrow fan, but I thought she was really good in that.
Queen 9 offsuit here is going to call for Francisco. And Allen calls with ace rag. Here we go. 800 to the flop.
Everybody misses.
Yep.
Again.
Turns a deuce.
500.
And we get a $500 bet here by Gore. And he has the best hand here, Dave. And I think he's going to take it down. And he does.
Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Zuckman here with Bart Hansen. You're watching No Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 25 and 50. This is an unrestricted buy-in game. Minimum buy-in is $3,000. But we've probably got over $60,000 on the table right now.
Yep.
Game is great. The action is hot. And the weather is scorching.
You talk about having to, you're talking about having to have a lot of money to play in this game, especially if you're doing this for a living. Because when you take beats with kings against nines, that one card, not only is it a $5,000 loss, it's a $10,000 swing.
Mm-hmm.
You're either up, you're up actually to $10,000, or you're down $10,000, or you're down to nothing. Actually, a $20,000 swing if the pot is if the pot is $20,000.
Get a raise here from $250 out of Gore. He's got ace deuce. Imagine Allen's going to call this in the big blind with ace-jack.
We're halfway through the show here, folks.
And Francisco got a king-6 offsuit. I'm not sure if he'll play or not. Yeah, my dad taught me a lesson a long time ago. He said, when you're playing poker, once your money is in the pot, it's not your money anymore.
Your dad taught you that?
My dad taught me that. But it's a good lesson there to know. So clearly, once you bet that much, once you put your money in the pot, obviously, it is a $10,000 nine.
Francisco's going to call king 6, and Allen calls as well. So here we go, 750 to the flop. 8-8-9 here. Let's see if Gore follows up and takes it down.
Yeah, well, it misses everybody. It'll probably go check, bet, and it'll probably go to Gore, you'd imagine.
Nope. A little bit too connected, I guess. Turns a queen. He picks up the nut flush draw now. Now he's probably going to bet if it gets checked.
He might actually take the card now.
Well,
we'll see. No, he's going to bet. Okay. I thought maybe he would take the cards considering he's got the ace high already, and he's got a flush draw.
No, he does take the card.
Okay.
He does not bet.
And there he gets
it. He makes backdoor, but no one has anything here.
We did after you left. I hit it like 3 times.
Question for Gore is how much can you get? Maybe bet 300 here, 400, something like that. Make it smell like just a little steal.
I appreciate it, but we called the game off. I hit it twice. He didn't pay me once.
Now he's gonna bet a real pot-sized bet there.
Takes it down.
I mean, it almost looks like, okay, he either backed into flush, into clubs. He flopped, nines full of eights.
Right.
Or he's got nothing at all.
Right.
Yeah. Because when you left, we weren't playing heads up. So we canceled it. We just said the game's off. But you were gone for like 2 hours. What are we going to do?
Getting all these posts, everybody's saying we shouldn't have said what Gore has in his man purse.
Well, maybe he doesn't put it. He probably doesn't.
Jonas hit the deuces. Like
I hit it twice, Mo. He hit it.
Button moves over here to seat 9.
we just forgot to tell you.
Yeah, we've only got about 84 security guards here. I wouldn't worry.
Well, here we go with the chip count.
No one.
Let's take a look at the differences now. And Russ is down about 3,000 or 4,000 from the last chip count.
Wow, look at Francisco. Francisco's just taking a beating.
Right, we said the game's over.
Right when you were gone, right when you left, we said game over.
You guys said it, right?
Taking a beating tonight, Francisco is.
I didn't even see it.
You guys tell me.
You're right, but you weren't here.
5-way action
When
here.
I get here, it's almost 15 something. We forgot.
7-5-6 with a couple spades. Francisco's got top pair. Allen's got him up kicked here.
Francisco, wow, you could get in trouble here again.
Now, seat 8 here, David is going to bet with bottom end of an open-ended straight draw.
Well, I think he's hoping everybody else missed. Why not take a shot at it?
And Francisco calls. Allen's got backdoor spades. He calls. Mo's out of there. Mike's going to leave.
This game actually really falls into Kirk's game. I mean, he likes a game like this where he can just wait for the nuts and get paid off.
Turns at 10 here. Allen still has the best hand, and he's got the nut flush draw.
Yeah, he's in really great shape here.
It gets checked around to the button, and Francisco's going to check as well. And the river is trip sevens, and Allen and Francisco have got the key card here. But, you know, there are 3 spades out there. You wonder if Francisco's just going to call. Allen's going to bet 500 here.
Well, in Francisco, sometimes players like that do not raise. They'll just call, but they'll call whatever you put in there. Like if you bet 2,000, he calls 2,000. You bet 500, he calls 500.
$500 bet here. And Francisco made the call.
Yeah.
3 sevens with an ace.
Call. Oh my God.
You bet you called.
There it is, trip sevens.
Yeah, and that's one of those times where Allen's looking at it going, man, I probably could have bet 1,500 and still got called.
That's Allen. I know Action Allen, live at the Bicycle Casino.
There you go. Thank you, Gore. I appreciate that. Maybe we can get a little soundbite from Gore there.
Yeah.
Action Allen.
Action
live
Allen.
from the Bicycle Casino in Bell Gardens, California.
You better be happy.
Bell Gardens, California. We're about 10 miles south of Los Angeles.
I'll give it to you, man.
Once again, our Winning of the Green tournament is going on right now. Today's tournament was actually a $300 buy-in tournament with one optional rebuy. There's no limit hold'em. Started at 4:15 p.m. And I know Hob was in the game.
Yep.
Midnight was playing in the tournament. See how he does.
Look at this email by Michael Howe. Do you think they would be interested in having viewers stake tuck in this game? Definitely would add a new level of interest. Well, there you go. Hey, you can stake me in at any time.
Remember the Crew? Remember like Dutch Boyd and them?
Yeah,
they
they
were
would sell
trying to sell. They were trying to sell pieces of themselves on eBay
Yeah.
to the World Series.
We got a raise here by Allen with ace queen. Excuse me, with pocket jacks. And Mo's going to come back over the top of him here with ace queen. He's re-raised here, Dave. Out of the small blind. He's made it 6:25 to go. And Francisco is going to make the call.
And I got to tell you, Allen is really, obviously, he's not yet a good poker player yet. I can't say that.
Well, Allen made the raise. Mo made it 6:25, and Francisco's made the call here with the raise and the re-raise with pocket fives. Let's see what Allen's going to do here.
You know, against Mo, you can call this because Mo will make this move.
And he makes the call.
And it's also, Allen does have the button. He's in position. He has the advantage of seeing what Mo does. Mo's got a short buy-in, by the way. He's only bought in for $3,000.
We've got $1,900, and Mo bets blinds. He's bet blind, $1,900 pot to the flop. Oh, wow. He hits the best hand, but Allen's open-ended with jacks. King, queen, 10.
Allen's not going to go anywhere. I think Allen's going to call this.
Easy lay down here for Francisco.
Yeah, that's not a good flop for fives.
That's Allen.
Mo is bet blind, it looks like.
And the funny thing is that Mo is representing, what, aces here, I guess, or kings?
He's bet 800, and Allen's going to make the call.
How do you like your hand now if you're ace-queen? I mean, you got to hate it, huh?
3,500 to the turn. The turn's a 9, and there's the card for Allen.
And Allen's made it straight.
And Mo moves all in, and Allen calls. And Mo is going to need one of Allen's jacks here to take this one down. The river is a 10.
And
And
that changes nothing.
Allen's going to take it down there, probably over about $7,000 or $8,000 here with pocket jacks.
Yeah, and okay. I know Mo does this for his image.
Right.
I don't know. I don't understand it. I mean, I guess he takes some negative EV for positive long-term EV. And when I say EV, I mean expected value. He takes a hit short-term to kind of invest in his gambling image,
Right.
which helps him in his long-term play.
Metagame strategy we talk about.
Bluffing Allen is negative EV, folks. Don't bluff him. Wait till you make a hand and then bet it.
Email here from Heidi Doctor. She says, what's that yellow disc next to the dealer? That is the collection pot disc. Maybe we'll put that over there on the website as well. Collection pot
Yeah.
for this game. Another email here. We've got so many good comments. Why not read some of the bad ones? You commentators are really lame. Get someone else, please. Especially that one guy's laugh. It's really annoying.
Is that
Yeah,
you or
Dave,
me?
I think it's your laugh.
My laugh?
Probably referring to me. Kirk's got pocket tens here. He's in the big blind. Jonas is going to raise it up here to 300. He's got the speed limit. Pocket
Once again, we
five.
do appreciate the emails, even the critical ones.
Yeah.
Thank you, MedCrew.
Medcrew at AOL.com. We got a 4 exposed here. Wow, Mike's got pocket 9s. He limped in. Jonas raised with 5s. Allen's going to call with ace-8 off suit. Kirk is probably going to call, and this is probably going to get Mike. Now that Kirk calls here, Mike is just going to call. I mean, this is one of the first hands we've seen Kirk play. And we've got a $1,200 pot here going 4 ways here. Here we go to the flop. Look at Allen with the ace rag. Out flops everybody.
He also has the ace of diamonds. Makes it it's not a bad flop for ace rag if you have the ace of diamonds. Flop is ace 6-3 with 2 diamonds. There it is.
He's got 500 into a $1,200 pot here.
And I think it goes fold, 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 fold.
Well, like you talk about, when Allen bets, he usually has it.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm really surprised here that Mike is going to check raise. He's going to make it 1,400. And again, Mike has played on the show.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's see now. You were saying, does Allen get away from a weak ace? I'm curious now. Now, he has the ace of diamonds in his hand. That might keep him in there.
Well, he showed the ace. And
He
gets
throws it away.
Well,
There you go.
Well, I kind of suspected that early on, Dave. But again, though, if Allen has ace-queen or ace-king, he's not going anywhere.
Well, this is my question, though. Does Allen call Jonas, though? Does he call Mo? Because of their gambling image. And is he laying it down against Mike, playing the player,
Yeah.
thinking Mike must have a bigger hand than I have?
Obviously, ace-8 is not that big of a hand.
And you know what? If Allen actually called for the turn where the queen of diamonds would have hit, there's no way he's going anywhere because he had the ace of diamonds in his
Right.
hand. You know, I tell you, the commentary here is lame. Maybe we can get DKE to get Mike back in the booth.
Right.
Man, he was
Alan, I
good.
think he bluffed you, man.
And look at Gore. Gore's saying that he thinks he bluffed him. He's trying to ride Allen, trying to get Allen to stay in there.
A smart player is not going to bluff someone who's running good.
Allen says, smart player is not going to bluff someone who's running good. And that is actually the exact opposite of what we talk about, Dave, right?
Did you go watch? How much you on that?
Because you can usually bluff people that are running good because they've won so much they're not going to get involved with it.
Exactly.
Whereas trying to bluff someone who's running bad is a little bit more difficult to do.
I'll put it this way. If Allen's down $5,000, there's no way he throws away ace-8 there. But because he's up $5,000, he throws it away. You're 100% right.
Straddled pot here, limped around 5 ways, and the flop comes Jack 6-3. Kirk's going to bet.
And he's got top pair, top kicker.
He bets 300.
And I don't think anybody else is getting involved here. Maybe Francisco calls with second pair.
He's got 5-6 off
I
suit
think he
here.
bluffed you, Alan.
Backdoor heart draw.
Win this pot.
How much you want to bet?
You shouldn't bet.
How much you want to bet he bluffed him? I'll bet you.
Mo is 5,000 behind, we're getting word.
Yeah.
Wow,
Bluff is worth
Francisco's going to call here.
Yeah, and you notice how a player like Francisco is just obviously not paying attention to
Right.
who's betting. This is Kirk betting.
It's about $1,000 pot now as we head to the turn. Turns an 8. Wow,
Well,
it's a third heart.
Yeah, Francisco's got a heart here, and look at Kirk slows down now. I mean, I think you have to bet that if you're Kirk.
Well, he checks, and Francisco's going to move in here. How much is it?
Well, you've induced this bluff.
Well,
by
it's
the
only
way.
$500, Dave, into about,
I know.
well,
You're right,
500
you're right.
into about a $1,000 pot.
No,
Kirk
no, okay.
calls.
I didn't realize how much
Yeah.
Francisco had.
That's a little. I'm gonna have to go walk.
Kirk has induced that bluff, and
Francisco needs a heart, a 5, or a 6 here to come on the river. And here we go to the river. The river's a queen, and Kirk is going to take it down.
take it down, Kirk.
And again, you know, Kirk might play the best strategy of everyone at this table. Just wait and wait and wait and get paid off.
If you are patient and disciplined
Yeah.
at a table like this, with players like Francisco, players like Allen, and players that are going to make moves on you, if you wait for big hands, you're
Right.
going to get paid. My only question there is, when the heart comes there, let's say, what happens if Francisco had $2,000 behind? Is Kirk gone? Is he out of the hand?
I told you guys.
I don't think Francisco makes that move, though, when he's got 2,000 behind. I don't think he moves in.
Yeah, he can
Obviously,
go
that was just a little bit different because he had 500.
Right.
Now, he's gotten up here. I believe the seat is still locked for him. No?
It is.
I knew he.
And he's stuck about $12,000 tonight, folks.
The button moves over here to seat 4.
I was really.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Straddle.
That's Jonas live straddle there. Makes it $100 to play. Allen's going to limp in with King Deuce. Suited. And Kirk's not going to get involved. Kirk throws away an ace-7 suited there on the button and straddle pot. Doesn't want to get involved on the button. And look at this, it's 3 ways now. Russ with the best hand. He had ace-9 on the button, in the cutoff seat, I'm sorry. Did not choose, chose not to raise.
Queen, 3-3 here.
Yeah,
on
the flop
flop.
misses everybody here. Let's see if Russ takes a shot at it if he gets checked around to him. Nope, he doesn't take a shot.
That's the operative word in that whole sentence.
Turns an 8 of spades.
Russ still has the best hand here, but let's see who fires.
Now he's going to bet, it looks like, Dave.
250.
He bets 250.
Well, he figures that nobody wants it. I mean, people think about it. Well, it's a small pot. There's $300 in the pot, folks. I mean, if you think of the blinds are $25.50, that's $75 a round. If you can win $300 just once every, say, 20 or 30 minutes, that's going to pay for, what, 4 rounds.
Right.
Pays for 40 hands of poker.
You know, interesting discussion about fanny packs and man purses going on in 2+2. Did you ever carry one of those, Dave?
No, I've never had one in my life.
No. Not even like the wraparound thing?
No, I think those are, I'm sorry, those are so lame.
So-
those are awful. Jeez, I'm sorry, those are so lame. I gotta tell you, my dad still, he holds his credit cards and his cash in a rubber band.
In a rubber
And that's
band.
all he has.
250.
Button's going to raise here with ace-queen. He's going to make it 250 to go. Allen's got 8-10 of clubs here. Is he going to call here?
You know, I mean, it's a hand that I might, yeah, and he's looking at just me. Well, and he's gonna call. I was gonna say,
220.
if there's 3 or 4 callers, I don't mind calling with 8-10 of clubs, but heads up,
600 here to the flop. Deuce, 3-5.
Allen misses it. And they both
Wow,
check
they
it.
both check it. Turns a 10 in there. Allen hits top pair. And now he checks it again. Mike bets and Allen calls.
Yeah.
And here we go to the river. The river is a jack. It's a third heart. And if Mike had led there, Allen would have folded.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it before. Sometimes if you're heads up with ace queen or ace jack or ace king in position, you would raise to get one caller. Is it an automatic bet on the flop?
Well,
I mean, I say 95% of the time it is. Maybe
Dave,
one out of 20 times.
you know,
don't bet
I
that.
told you right before the show. I'll tell you a little hand I played with Russ today this afternoon in the 5-10 game. I had raised to about 70 after a few limpers with ace jack offsuit, and Russ had called me the small blind heads up. Again, I had ace jack offsuit. The flop came out 7-8-9 with 2 clubs.
Right.
He checked. I decided to check. Okay. The turn was a blank. He checked again. I checked again. I thought that maybe Russ is weak enough where I could win this with ace high. Actually, the turn was the third club. It was like the deuce of clubs.
Right.
The river paired the pot pair 9. So now you got 3 clubs out there, and the board is paired. He checked the river. I checked again. I turned over ace queen. He turns over jack 10 of spades.
So he turns over the flop. He flopped
The
the,
flop
nut straight.
nuts, right.
Yeah, flopped the nut straight.
Yeah.
And obviously his hand got worse as it went along. See, I mean, to me, I just don't. I mean, if I'm going to raise with ace jack or ace queen and I get it heads up and I'm in position on somebody, and they check to me, I'm going to assume that I had the best hand still, and I'm going to bet it. 90% of the time.
Well, no, I usually follow the same thing. That just happened to be one of the times
Yeah.
that I didn't bet it.
Right.
I didn't really think I was going to get that much information there if I got a call. I wanted to see what he was going to do on the turn. I wanted to see what card. Again, with ace-jack there, Dave, I'm looking for 4 cards that come on the turn. An ace, a king, a queen, or maybe a jack, though. That would bring 1 card straight to the board.
Yeah.
But I decided to just take the free card in that one instance.
Yeah,
I was just shocked when he turned over jack 10.
I just don't want to let somebody get there for free. I mean, let's say the guy's in there with king, queen. Some random queen comes out there, and I'm like, oh, jeez.
King jack 7 here on the flop. It was limped around. Alan's got top pair. And he's going to come out and bet. 175 here. 1 white chip and 3 purples.
You were just trying to steal. You opened right there. I opened. You came over the top of me, so I felt like you were just trying.
And Francisco's rebought for another $5,000. So he's in this game for probably somewhere around $17,000, folks.
Well, we got a call here. I think it was by Francisco. He's got queen 8 there. The turn's an ace.
Well, he's picked up a gut shot straight draw, folks.
Francisco checks.
I mean, that's what we talk about taking one off. Queen 8 there. The board was king jack 7.
And the river's a 9, and Alan's hand here is good.
I got the king.
Yep. There it is.
I mean, it's just so odd. You call on the flop hoping to hit what?
Right.
With queen 8. I mean, what? You're hoping to hit a 10, so you're open-ended?
Ned Crew says, thanks for reading my negative comment, but no thanks for sending my email. I guess we read his email. Well, sometimes if you don't sign it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Write a name there so we can call you by name.
Right.
With my glasses, you're going to see nothing. See, you see everything blue, right? It's been programmed for my eyes. Right?
Collection pot here. Because, again, now, last hand was a collection pot, but the pot has to be, I think, over $600, Dave, for them to take collection. So that's another little...
Interesting email here from Brent Cook that I'm going to get to in a second.
And Alan is paying the collection there.
Yeah, pay the money, Alan. Cheap bastard.
Got about an hour left in the show here.
Raise on the button by Jonas. He's got ace 5 here.
He's going to make it 300 to go.
Dave is not going to get involved with ace 9. And Francisco's not going to get involved. Wow. Button moves over here. The email here. Spartan Dave, I know you both like cash games versus tournaments. And I've heard both of you admit to like the competitive nature of tournaments. So here's the question. And first of all, before you even get to the question, I want to say I actually love tournaments. And I might even say that I actually prefer tournaments over cash games. It's just the nature of our job here where we just don't get the chance to play that many tournaments. I would love to be on the tournament circuit. It's so much fun. But, okay, we want to move on, though. Anyway, the question here is if you had someone that wanted to stake you for a single, say, $10,000 buy-in World Poker Tour event and World Series of Poker Circuit events, but you had to give up 50% of your profits, would you do it? And I'll tell you, yes.
I'd do it, especially if I could play on the side on my own as well, right?
Well, the thing is, the interesting thing is, Alan's got kings here.
And Jonas is raised here with pocket 8s. He's made it 300. Let's see how Alan's going to play this. Wow, Francisco's going to call with a 6-8 offsuit in the small blind, and Alan really should put a hefty re-raise in here. And he is. He's going to make it 900, Dave. Now, if Jonas is deep, this is the type of hand that you might want to bust Alan with, because you can almost put him on an overpair here. And he does call.
Yeah. And that's why Jonas is calling.
I mean, Alan is,
he's deep, and so is Alan's deep, and he knows Alan cannot get away from a big hand.
If an 8 comes here without an ace, Jonas will probably bust Alan here. 2,000 to the flop. Well, queen 4-5.
And once again, you're not looking to make a move against Alan. You're just looking to hit your 8. And I'd assume that Jonas is probably going to fold this.
Yep.
And he does.
Alan is not the type of player that's going to re-raise with ace king there or ace jack or something like that.
I'll actually say I've been backed in numerous tournaments in the 2004 and 2005 World Series of Poker. I was backed for probably about 6 or 7 tournaments collectively by a great guy named Robert Winkleman, a real good friend of mine who unfortunately passed away last summer, died of stomach cancer. A really great guy, and I always send out my best to his family. But he was actually my backer for a long time.
He was the gentleman that liked to come here and play stud high-low.
He played a lot of stud high-low. Once in a while, he would play a limit tournament. We'd sit and talk for a while.
Right.
Really, really nice guy. He liked to play the horse races, but he was my backer for a couple of years.
Pocket kings here from Mike in seat 5.
But like I said, unfortunately succumbed to cancer last summer.
$250 raise here. And Jonas is going to call with 63. He's going to call with the That's Allen hand, 6-3 of hearts here.
Wouldn't it be great if somebody else, like if Allen had kings and somebody beat Allen with 6-3 suited?
So Jonas makes the call. Francisco calls. There it is.
That's Allen.
Yep.
I got to tell you, you know what? One day when Allen raises, I'm going to call him with 6-3 suited. See if I can bust him with that hand.
So it's going to be about $800 here, 3 ways. Kings, 6-3, and ace-3 for Francisco.
And once again, nobody really hits much. Mike's in big, strong command of his hand. He also has the king of diamonds in his hand.
He's going to bet 500 here.
Imagine that's probably going to be it here. Francisco's always looking for a reason to stay in there.
Well, he's totally missed this flop. I mean, he has got 1 overcard. It's a $500 bet here.
Yeah, if I straddle, I raise 70% of the time. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad move. But you shouldn't have called after the...
And he makes the call with ace high, Dave.
You know that I know...
Like I said, he's always looking for an excuse to play a
Oh,
pot.
he's got backdoor diamonds. He can catch an ace. Here we go to the turn. The turn's a king, and Mike makes top set now.
Yeah, Francisco's drawing dead.
And there is almost absolutely no reason to check here against a player like kind of.
No,
calling
definitely
speed.
not. You're
gonna
hoping
bet
this
for
guy's
value.
got a 9.
Yep.
Hoping he has an 8. Hoping he has anything to call.
Yep.
You know, and most good players are looking for excuses to get out of hands.
Now, Dave,
Inexperienced players are obviously looking for an excuse to play hands.
I'm actually listening in the background. Russ is explaining to Gore over there in seat 3 about how he made that call with pocket 9s. And what he said was that I thought that you had about a 50% chance that you had 7s or 8s.
And said, wait a minute.
Wow, okay.
Putting a move on me after I re-raised him 1,000. Me. I probably should have. And I wouldn't. Even if I had 7s or ace king, if you raised me 1,000, I'd be like, oh, this guy's played one hand and it's been aces. You know, I'm pretty sure he's not trying to put a move on me.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So
That's very true. That is the one thing I didn't take into consideration.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, interesting. Always interesting to hear people talk about a hand.
Russ has got jacks this time. He's in the big blind.
And it's one of the reasons we always talk about sometimes you have to give action to get action.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why Gore gets action like that is because he's an aggressive player. You wouldn't see Russ make that move on, say, Kirk, right?
Right.
I mean, would you ever give Kirk any action?
No. Jonas is going to raise here with 4-5 of clubs to 700. And Francisco calls, and Russ is just going to call with pocket jacks here. Gore's got a little suited connector. He's probably going to come in as well.
Well, and Jonas and Francisco, they almost have a straight flush together.
4-way action here. It's about a $1,200 pot to the flop. Well, there's the ace, and you know what? It's all hearts. If Jonas throws a bet out, no, he's not going to bet. I was going to say, sometimes you bet that board because it's very difficult for anybody to call without a high heart or an ace.
Russ has got a jack of hearts in his hand. I don't know if he's going anywhere.
Turns a king now.
It's getting worse and worse for Russ, but he's still in great control. I actually want to say everybody is drawing dead, right?
And now Jonas is going to bet.
No, I'm sorry. Jonas has got a wheel draw.
Yep. Jonas is going to bet 700 now. And if Russ hems and haws about this call, do you put him on the jack or the 10 of hearts here, and if it goes blank on the river, you bet him off the hand here?
Well,
is that going through Jonas's head?
Yeah, you might do that. I mean, he's got a lot of money here. If he only, how much is the bet?
It's a $700 bet into about a $1,200 pot.
If he weakly calls this, and you're not thinking that he's sandbagging a real monster, like a made flush already. If you're pretty sure that he's weak, yeah, why not? Maybe you price him out.
Russ is just going to get away from it.
I mean, that's the art of reading players, you know. If you read your opponent as weak and you think you barely called the 700 on a turn, and you think, hey, you know what? I'm going to put him to the test on the river. I'm going to put 2,000 on the river and see if he calls that.
Email here from Chris C. He says, hey guys, cash and credit cards in front pocket with rubber band. You would not believe all the people groping my buns on the Russian subway looking for my wallet. Never a wallet again.
Yeah, I agree. Good email from Chris C. I don't know anybody that keeps their money in a wallet. I mean, that's.
I mean, I do have it in a wallet, but it's here. And that's pretty tough to get.
I don't know anybody that keeps their money in their wallet.
I keep my money in a wallet.
Well, I don't know anybody smart to keep their money in a wallet.
Ace King suited here for Mo. He's on the button.
Maybe I'll buy you a money clip. How's that? Would you use it if I bought you one?
Look at this. Jonas has got pocket tens, and he's going to make his standard raise to 300. Mo's going to smooth call, and it's always fun to see these guys play.
Yeah, well, both these times they both have real hands, so it'll be
Russ
interesting.
is in there. Russ has got Jack 9 suited.
Okay, yes. Multi-way, it's not a
Yeah.
terrible hand. I like Jack 9
And
suited.
Gore's in there with 7-8 of clubs, and we've got a $1,200 pot going 4 ways again.
And look at, nobody's got the same cards. So the flop is bound to hit somebody, that's for sure.
Jonas is the pre-flop raiser. Here we go.
And sure enough, it does. It hits
Top
Jonas.
full house.
Yeah, it kills
Now
Jonas.
let's see if Jonas is going to bet this, Dave.
Well, I love building a pot, and he's going to bet a little bit here.
Yeah. That's 500. And is he gonna? And look at this. Mo is called him, and he's almost drawing stone cold dead. This is what we talk about. Maybe if
Look
Mo
at the
picks,
percentages, folks.
maybe if Mo picks up a heart here, he's gonna make a move with the nut flush draw.
Oh,
the
wow.
turn's a king.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And Jonas checks.
I love the play. He bets it. He builds himself a little pot. Now he's going to see if Mo bites.
He bet top full house, folks, and he's probably gonna make the most out of it.
Wow.
Now, is he thinking, no, yeah, he's going to bet. I was going to say, is he going to think about trying to keep the pot small? He's going to come out and bet here. He's going to bet 600 here.
Kind of a, let me see where I'm at bet, huh? Or it might be a, I'm weak bet. I want him to make a move
You know,
on me.
Mo might be making this bet to get Jonas to check raise him, but Jonas is going to play a little cagey. He just check calls. He's out of position, and the river's a 4. Now how is he going to play it?
I think Jonas has to bet this. He can't count on a bet from Mo.
Dave, the pot is about $3,500 here. I think that maybe Mo, if Jonas had check raised Mo there, he might have gotten Mo's money.
Yeah.
And Jonas is going to throw a huge bet out here.
Looks like $2,500, folks.
Wow.
2,500 into 3,500.
He check called the flop, and now he's bet the river. Mo bet real weak on the turn.
Yeah. He actually bet the flop. He check called the turn, and now he's bet the river right.
Boy, if you're ace king here, you're in this spot against Jonas. I mean, boy, what do you think here?
It's a tough. I mean, against Jonas, it's one of those things. Jonas is capable of making this bluff. It's a really tough laydown. The pot is now $6,000, $2,500 to call.
What an interesting hand here.
You're getting
folks.
about 2 to 1 on your money. Would Jonas bluff here? More than 1 out of 3 times. That's the question, right?
And I got to tell you, when I have strategical conversations with Mo, I don't necessarily know if pocket tens runs through his head here because I think Mo sometimes thinks, why would he bet with pocket tens? Because Mo sometimes will slow play a hand. If Mo flop tens full there, I think that he would probably check the flop.
99% of the players in the world would check
Right.
that. I mean, it's just not a hand that you put in there. And it's really tough to get away from this if you're Mo.
Maybe Mo's thinking, obviously, the possibility that Jonas has aces here as well, right?
Well, I'm thinking he might be scared of a 3.
And he's going to move all in here. Mo moves all in, and Jonas calls, and he made the maximum. He bet the flop, he check called the turn, and he pushed all in. And Mo, that's about $5,000 there for Mo. And Jonas takes down the biggest pot there of the night. Wow.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I was talking about the respect I have for Jonas's game, and I have equal respect for Mo's game. I really have a lot of respect for Mo as a person and a player. But he got played there. He got played like a fiddle. Jonas really, really played him like a fiddle. I mean, oh, wow.
Nicely played, Thank you.
Wow, what a hand, Dave. That's over, that's about $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 pot there. And I got to tell, I mean, well, I guess, Jonas didn't quite build, he made a weak bet on the flop. But again, I think that, one of those
sometimes it's tough to
possibilities,
build
though.
a flop. I mean,
Yeah.
a difference with the flop when the guy had ace king. That flop was ace jack queen. I mean, 3 diamonds or so many things. The flop was 10-3-3. It's hard to build a pot when the flop was 10-3-3 because remember it's a raised pot, so you wouldn't put anybody on a 3 necessarily. And if nobody has a 3, you've got 10s full. What does somebody else have?
I still got to think, what I think, though, too, is if Jonas makes a check raise on the turn, I wonder what Mo would have done.
Same thing, I bet.
Yeah, I think that all the money still would have went in there. I think Mo was betting weak on the turn so that Jonas might check raise him.
Yeah, I think he was inducing that.
Yeah.
I think Mo was trying to look like he was weak, like he didn't like the king.
Yeah.
Maybe Jonas would pick up on that weakness and raise him. But you know what? I'm stuck. That's my chip count. I mean, it was almost like a chess match. You know, if you do
Right.
this, I'll do this, but I know you're doing this, so I'll do this. And obviously, in that little heads-up battle,
Yeah.
you know, Jonas definitely got the best of Mo.
Kirk is going to come out and bet here with King Jack. Now Francisco calls with a gut shot to the 10 with a 2 flush out there, and Mike's in there with a flush draw. So Kirk is led out here with top pair. Turns a queen. Now is he just going to shut down here? Wow, look at Mike. He's open-ended with the flush draw. Kirk
Yeah, Mike's got
checks,
a pretty big hand here.
and Mike is going to bet.
Yeah, nice bet by Mike, and I think he'll probably take this down now. I don't know if Kirk can call this. It's a pretty ugly turn card for King Jack there. You've also got to put your opponent on some hands. If your opponent called you the Queen 10
Right.
or 10-8, well, now your hand is no good, and Kirk's going to get rid of it.
And Kirk lays it down there.
Mike using his image to win a pot there.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11.
Wow.
Alan has 12,000. Right, Alan? You got 12,000?
What a great hand, Dave. That's one for the archives. I
Yeah.
love hands like that. And again, I pointed out that, rarely will you see Jonas slow play his monsters, especially with the image that he's had tonight, because he's brought in a lot of suited connector cards, hands that you wouldn't necessarily raise with pre-flop, and he continued on, and he got Mo to call with ace-king and a great card on the turn. And I still think that if he made the check raise, Mo was going to call on the turn.
And look at this now. We got $62,000 on the table. Alan's got the most money on the table, and Jonas has got to be happy because he's almost got as much money as Alan now.
Yeah.
So if a big hand happens, Jonas can really break Alan.
Let's take a look at the differences now.
Wow, there it is. Alan is up $9,000, folks. Gore is up $4,500. Jonas is now up $1,700 after taking
And I
a
think
bath
Jonas
early.
said that he's just even now because he was down before the show.
Exactly. Well, he's up $1,700 from the show.
Yeah.
Look at Mo and Francisco combined. They're down $21,000, folks. This is real money. We're not like playing around and going to give the money all back after
Right.
the show.
10-3-5 here, Rainbow. It's checked around, turns a queen. Jonas is in there with king 4 suited, and Francisco's in there with ace 4. Rivers a 6. And this one's just going to get checked down. Ace high is good there.
Another guy says, oh, that guy, when he raises a minimum queen, like if this guy, So I think about it, I got about 2,500. I go, hey, man, how much you got?
Again, you can email us at live@thebike.com. Questions, comments, suggestions, always appreciated.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'm going to get back to Brent Cook's question because he did a little re-up. He said, if you had someone that wanted to stake you for every single 10K buy-in event, but you had to give up 50% of your profits, would you do it? And that means you couldn't obviously play on your own. You'd have to let them put you in. And I think that would be it's an even trade-off there. There are some players that do that, like TJ Cloutier and stuff.
Right.
They have no problem doing that.
Well, again, and I think that if you can actually say bust out of a tournament and feel, you know what, maybe I'm not going to play the next day, but there's some juicy side games going on, you're confident in your cash game, it's a great way to supplement your income if you have that
Yeah,
offer,
of
right?
course. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely is. I mean, I will say that if I'm playing in tournaments, I think it's a different animal. But there might be a time where you might want to just kind of focus on tournaments. Get another email here from MedCrew. Says, you guys are starting to grow on me now. Yeah, we're kind of like that fungus between your toes.
Limp around here 4 ways.
He was wondering if one of us if we would play him heads up. And yes, we will play you heads up. Just come on down to the Bicycle Casino. Come on down here, and either one of us will play you.
Gore's going to lead out here with top pair. The flop is 7-5-4 with a couple clubs.
We actually might even have some promotions upcoming where
Now look at this,
you
Francisco.
can play us heads up.
Francisco's going to take one off with ace-jack here. And Mike calls with a wheel draw to the deuce. The turn's a queen.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of taking one off. But okay.
350.
And Gore's going to lead for 350 here. Francisco's going to fold, and Mike is out of there. Another email here from Dan Samotis.
Says, yeah, hi Bart and Dave. I noticed that not all the players toke the dealer when they win a pot. I play in Atlantic City, and it is very uncommon for a dealer to go untoked after a hand. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's funny, actually. Kirk was saying to me, I won a big pot. I actually did really well yesterday afternoon, Dave. I was up like maybe, I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 or something like that, and I won this big pot. And I gave the dealer $1, and Kirk turned over to me. He's like, wait, you're only going to give the dealer $1? And I kind of felt a little bit uncomfortable. I didn't know if he was saying it seriously or not, but, I was like, yeah, I'm going to give him $1. I give the dealers $1 for every pot that I win, regardless of how big it was.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the kind of, you can't be giving away your money as a professional poker player. Those things add up, and it might sound trivial, but if you do it and you play 40 hours a week over the course of a year, those extra couple of dollars every 3 to 4 times an hour is a lot, right?
Oh, definitely. I'll actually say it, and look at this. It was limped in by Jonas, and then Francisco raised it up with Jack 9, and we're getting heads up here in the blinds. Little blind battle for $300.
King 7 deuce here.
Misses both players, and it's going to go check, and let's see if Francisco follows up. Nice
Check here. Turns is 6. Now Francisco's a heart draw. Jonas checks.
And Jonas has picked up a gut shot.
He says put a 4 up there, and now Francisco's made backdoor hearts. Is Francisco going to bet on it? Well, I think he went out to bet, and Jonas said just take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously Jonas is calling for his gut shot there. I wonder if a 4 of hearts comes up, what happens. I'll tell you my practice of toking now, actually. I no longer toke based on my wins or losses. I rarely toke on a win. I usually will give the dealer did a good job. I mean, usually give the dealer $3 or $4 at the end of their 30 minutes, and that's the end of it.
I think that's what Mo does, too, actually. Yeah.
Because the dealers, let's be honest, the dealers have nothing to do with whether you win a hand, whether you lose a hand. And I know that in some games, I might not play that many hands, so I might not be toking that much. And there are some games that I play a lot of hands, and I'm winning a lot of hands, and I'm toking too much. So this way it's just easier. I'll give each dealer $3 or $4 at the end of my 30 minutes.
This is actually one of the rare times when we've actually seen Mo get up. Maybe he's down about, what was he down, about $8,000 there, Dave, or so? And he actually got up. And
he lost $8,000 in 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Man.
Limped around here. 8-6-5 with a couple of clubs.
I want to say the best hand right now is Ace-6. That's Gore. He's got second pair with top kicker, but he has no club in his hand. But he's going to follow. He's going to put a little bet out there and see where he's at in the cutoff seat. I mean, everybody checks to him. Why not bet it, right?
Yep, 200. Looks like he's going to take it down right there, and he does. Email here from Ben Lisa saying, I have a cool suggestion for the show. Is it possible to do kind of a how would you play it type segment that you can put on the website, saying, or maybe even live where maybe you don't show one person's cards. We've kind of done that in the past. It doesn't necessarily work out all that well, but
yeah, unfortunately for the show, we never know when the big hands are going to happen. So
plus we're on a 5-minute delay too, so it doesn't quite work out that way because no one can really be guessing real time. I mean, I guess you could guess.
Well, for them it's real time. What's the difference?
Right. I'm talking about people who wanted to interact with us live about the hands.
Oh, I see what you
writing
mean.
and
Okay.
saying, I think he has this.
Right. I see what you mean. Yeah, and obviously the hands just go too quickly, obviously, to get some interaction anyway.
Right. So George is in seat 8, the Greek poker god. He's going to come in. If anybody saw the show, George actually told me that he went home and watched the show on Friday and laughed his ass off.
Is that a good thing or bad thing?
Yeah, I think it was good. Three-way action here. 10-8-6. Looks like Jack 10 over there for seat 2. And
150.
David's going to bet 150 here with top pair. Now George has got a gut shot here, and Alan has a gut shot with his 9. George also has backdoor spades, but George usually isn't the type of player that's going to get involved with this. He folds. Now Francisco is actually open-ended here, Dave, but a 9 would bring anybody with a 7 a straight. And he makes the call, and we're heads up here. He needs a 9 or a 4 here. The turn is a queen. David's going to bet again. He bets 150. And it looks like Francisco's going to make the call again. And here we go to the river. River for 4. And that's a great card, actually, because it's not as obvious. And look at this. David's put out a $150 stop bet here on the river.
Yeah, it's kind of a little like, I don't want to face a big raise. And if you get raised by a player like Francisco, he's not bluffing you.
I think 5-7 might be a hand that you put him on. He's going to raise it up here. And David is quickly folded.
There you go.
Yeah.
His phone was ringing. He correctly did not answer it.
Yeah.
Once again, we try to remind these players that if they answer the phone while they're in a hand, their hand is actually dead.
Give me some.
Button moves over here to seat 1. That's Alan.
You know, it's fun. It's funny getting back to Mo. I mean, I tell you, I have a lot of respect for his game, but sometimes he makes some really unorthodox plays.
Well, sometimes there's some comments coming in here about why did Mo move in on the river? He actually had a couple thousand left, and you know what? Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess he was thinking it was a value move in, and maybe he'd get paid off by a weaker king.
How much you buying, Alan? 3?
King Queen, say.
I mean, at that point, Mo probably only had about 1,500 left, so it's almost a situation where if he was a lot deeper, he probably wouldn't have moved. I mean, the move is almost a little bit inconsequential because he can't really get re-raised, obviously. You see
Well,
my
the
point?
whole point of him moving in there is
Right.
he figures, well, if Jonas has got king, queen, or even if Jonas has, say, queens,
Right.
Jonas might call because there's not much more
Yeah,
money,
there's
I
so
guess.
much money in the pot, yeah.
But, well, I don't know. It's an odd play, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Once again, we're live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hanson. You can catch us every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. Blinds in this game are $25.50, and we're playing no limit hold'em with an unrestricted buy-in.
Five-way action limped around here. Ace, 7-7, a whiff from everybody.
Yep.
Now, tomorrow night, Dave, is probably going to be a 3 to 5 game, or probably maybe we can get a 5-10 game on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 500. We don't have that game on there that often. I don't know what is the tournament tomorrow? I know
Tomorrow's actually a stud high-low tournament.
Yeah, see, the problem is we might not have a big enough 5-10, no-limit player base there. You know what I mean?
We'll see. We'll play it by ear. Like we
Yeah.
said, this whole month we're going to keep our schedule open. So if you're intent on coming down here and playing in the game,
Yeah.
know that we're not sure what game will be tomorrow night.
Now look at this. Russ has come out and bet here on a flush draw, and Jonas is called, and he's open-ended. Now let's see if it goes miss-miss if Jonas can bet Russ off the river. Well, the river comes 10, and Russ makes the 9-high flush there, or the flush with 4-9. And I think he checked it here, Dave, on the river. And Jonas is going to bet. So Russ has checked this to kind of induce a bluff, and Jonas has bet 1,000 here. Francisco is not in the hand. And Russ makes the check call there.
Yeah.
And that actually was, you know what, that worked out well for Russ there. I mean, it's kind of a little bit weird when you get there and check it, but you know, that he made an extra grand.
Right, I guess he
Yeah.
checked to induce the bluff.
Right.
But I mean, when you get the bluff there, can you raise? I mean, is there any value
No,
to raising?
absolutely not. Well, he doesn't even have that high of a flush either.
Exactly. I mean,
And the board's paired.
can you get maybe a 7 to call you? You're not sure.
I don't even know if, I don't even know if Jonas calls Russ with the nut flush there, the king high flush, on a board pair. I mean, do we ever see that type of check raise aggression from Russ?
Yeah, no,
Pretty
it's
straightforward.
obviously it's a strange play.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting. A lot of people obviously are posting on 2+2 and emailing us, letting us say, well, there's no way Mo can get rid of that hand on the turn. Well, how about the flop, though? Can he get rid of it on the flop? I mean, he completely missed. It was 10-3.
I just think that, he thought that Jonas was kind of on a steal there.
So you think Jonas is maybe on ace-queen or ace-jack, or nothing? The problem is you have no idea what Jonas has.
Yeah.
And Jonas raised pre-flop. You get no information by just calling.
Now, I'm going to say something again about that hand. Alan is going to raise it up here with ace-10 of diamonds, and Francisco calls with ace-4. And actually, excuse me, it's the other way around. Francisco's got the ace-10. Alan has ace-4.
Goes check.
And Alan was the pre-flop raiser here, I believe. The turn's a 3.
Wow, and Francisco's got the best hand, and he's picked up the nut draw. And we decided not to put the ace-4 up there for some particular reason.
Turns a 3, river's a 6.
And Francisco's going to win this with his 10.
Yeah.
His 10 will play. Obviously, both players will play the pair of threes, king, ace, and then Francisco's 10 plays, while Alan has to play a 7.
I know how we really continue to really preach and just kind of shove it down everybody's throat to continue to bet your hand. Now, Jonas bets there on the flop. Now, he doesn't necessarily know what Mo is called with. He can't necessarily put Mo in a 10 because you've got 3 of them. Let's say he doesn't even check the turn. He bets again. You got to think that Mo's probably going to come over the top of him in position on the turn, right?
Maybe.
And all the money goes in there anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest. I mean, I know that betting your top full house there, that's a play.
Right.
I wouldn't have been surprised, and I wouldn't have minded if he checked it.
A 10-3-3, totally rainbow there, Dave.
I mean, if he checks it to Mo might bet ace-king.
Yeah.
Mo probably will bet ace-king on the flop.
And the other thing, too, is that is actually a spot where you could let somebody catch up with an overcard.
Exactly.
I mean, that is one of the rare cases there. King 3 of clubs here for Russ. He's got a flush draw. Francisco's going to bet 150 here with Jack 7, top pair, and a gut shot to the 10.
I mean, that's a hand there. The flop is 10-3-3. If I have a set of 10s there, full house, top
Yeah.
pair, I might bet that half the time and check it half the time. Really depends on who's playing in the game.
Francisco bets, Allen calls with King 9, and Russ calls. We've got 2 clubs on board. We have it up as a spade, a jack of spades, but Russ has a club draw. The turn is a 5 of diamonds here. Francisco's going to bet here. 150 again. Allen calls again. And then imagine that Russ is going to call again. Turn is the 5 of diamonds.
Raise.
Wow, Russ is going to raise with the flush draw. He's going to make it 300 more. Again,
I
that
love
is
the play.
a jack of clubs on the flop.
Yeah, we do apologize for that. We are saving up for a help Ronnie's eyesight fund. So please send your contributions in.
And look at this, Francisco made the call, and the river is a 3rd jack. And Russ has missed the flush, and it goes check, check. Russ whiffs, and Francisco's going to take it down there with trip jacks.
I mean, I don't mind the way Francisco played that hand in the sense of, I mean, you can't really bet the river there because if your opponent has Queen 10, you're dead. If your opponent has 10-7, you're dead.
Right.
Obviously, you can't beat a set. You can't beat a full house now.
$22 Skidoo on 2+2 says, wow, wow, wow. You guys have to set up a Jonas versus Mo heads-up battle. Webcast gold. Well, obviously, heads-up is much, much different. I don't even necessarily know how comfortable, I don't know if Mo or Jonas consider themselves good heads-up players. I mean, there are good heads-up players that don't necessarily play all that well in full ring games.
Of course.
It's a totally different game.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime we get them both on the table, I think it's golden.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mo and Jonas, they both, I mean, they can play in full ring games. They can play in short-handed games. Obviously, heads-up is a tick to the
Right. Limped around here 3 ways. 8, 6, 3. See if George might put a little feeler bet out here with 5s. He does. And Francisco is going to call here. He's got a gut shot to the 7 with overcards. $175 bet and a call by Francisco. Turns a 6, and George is still in the lead. He checks. And Francisco's going to check right behind him, and the river is a jack here. Now, can Francisco represent clubs here, Dave? It's a 3rd club. I got to tell you, the way that hand played out when George checked the turn and Francisco checked behind him, that river coming a club, if you're going to stay in there with 9-10, I think you have to bet that. There's no way George is going to call.
Of course. Interesting email from Michael Feynman. He said, Dave, you said it. You played him like a fiddle. Bottom line is, if you just watch these shows, which is all I can do, Mo is a fish. I know you love him and respect him, and he may be a world-class no-limit hold'em player, but he really doesn't show much on these shows since I've been watching, and I've been watching since last December. You have to stop saying Mo gives action for his image. No one blows thousands upon thousands deliberately game after game just for his image.
Well,
that's Michael Feynman's opinion.
Yeah.
We're glad to...
I can't disagree with him more, and I appreciate the opinion, but Mo is definitely not a fish by any means.
No, I mean, like I said, I have respect for his game.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I mean, if you watch his game over the last couple of weeks, and especially tonight, he's made some really, really questionable plays.
But again, we talk about, we never know. And the other thing, too, is Mo tells us stuff on the side that we might not necessarily say. He might tell us, well, I made this play because of this. It might be for overall image. I'm just going to throw that out at you. Take it for what it's worth.
Yeah, you could throw it out there, but, I mean, I'm not going to just, I love Mo.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to kiss his ass. I mean, I think he played like a donkey tonight.
Jack 6 king here with 3 hearts.
It's only 500 in the pot.
And
friends have to be honest with each other. And if Mo asked me, and I would say, I thought you played bad tonight, Mo. Sorry.
Oh, you know what I wanted to say about George was that he was laughing about the show afterwards, and he actually came up to me and said, you guys were right. I really have to calm it down and realize that there's no sense in me berating a donkey like on Friday Night Show, because that's a guy, he thought about it more and more. He realized the reason why that guy was making those moves is because he just didn't know how to play really that well.
Exactly.
And there's no real reason to.
There's a saying in Vegas, and there's a saying obviously all in poker, don't tap the fish tank.
Right.
Don't tap the glass, sorry.
3 people out of the hands here. We're playing 6-handed here.
God, I butchered that one. Dave Jones email here. Hey, you still think Jonas is maybe the best player in the game? And like I said, I do think Jonas is probably the best player in this game. But, wanted to quantify it by saying maybe. You never know.
Jack 10-3 here with a couple spades. Limped around, turns an 8, checked around. Check, check, river's an ace.
7 plays.
And we're going to see, what does it looks like? Couldn't even tell there. Queen eye? Couldn't even tell the one there. Yeah. Well, Kirk is... Yeah, hopefully we're not going to get anybody else get up here because we're playing 6-handed. Game is kind of fizzled out here in a second. Getting more of the doors coming back here. Button's moved over here to seat 9, Francisco. Got about a little under a half an hour left in the show. Francisco's got pocket 4s here on the button. He's going to just limp in on the button. And we're probably going to see it limped around 3 ways. Here we go to the flop. 7-5-3.
2 pair for David.
Yep, top 2 pair.
Is Russ going to get involved? He's got top pair. Francisco's got a gut shot. Not a bad flop for 4s, is it?
Well, $150 bet here by David. He's going to come out right and bet right away. Russ is going to make the call.
I'm assuming Francisco's probably just going to call.
Boy, you'd love this that these two guys call, so we're somewhat calling stations. You hope for a high blank card here, and that's
Oh.
no, but Russ makes 2 pair here on the turn.
Looks like a high blank
Yeah.
card, but it's not really.
Got a $400 bet here by David. But the thing, though, is if you're playing against Russ and he raises here on the turn, I don't think there's any way that 7-5 can be good here, unless for some reason he might have been sandbagging 3-5 if he thinks that hand is good enough to sandbag.
I don't know. Sometimes Russ raises with some strange hands. I mean, remember I played that hand with him when I flopped the straight.
Right, and he raised you with 2 pair.
With 2 pair.
Yeah.
And there was a flush out there, a straight out there, and he's raising with 2 pair. I mean,
And we can see fireworks here, but just to call a mini raise by Russ and just to call by David.
I like the
quickly
mini
got
raise, kind of building a pot.
Over a $2,500 pot. The river is a jack.
And how about a nice value bet here by
Oh,
Russ?
Russ checked it down on the river, Dave. Wow. Wow, there's maybe 1,000 or 1,500 left there on the table. That's unbelievable.
Well, it might not be left on the table there because if he had bet, he might have hurt his hand as he
Right.
moved
That's what
in.
I said, yeah.
He might have to go to the hospital and he might lose what he moved later on.
Right.
Butterfly effect.
Right.
Get an interesting post here by PSO Harris. It says, what the hell, man? First you talk about the guy's man person, what's in it. Now you were giving viewers email on the air. Hey, if anybody wants, we can actually give you PSO Harris's address as well. No, we're just joking. Trying to look for this one post on 2+2.
13. We'll get this game going here.
Now let me throw something else out at you.
At me?
At you.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this, and I'm kind of saying this to my producer, but I want everybody involved with the show to kind of hear it and give you my suggestions.
Go ahead.
We don't have a third man walking rule out in the casino. But why can't we have a third man walking rule on this show? Especially if we've got a big board.
I think it's a good point. You know,
Yeah. Just throw that out at you.
throw it out. I think
Yeah.
it's a good point. Maybe a little mini raise here, 300. Actually, not a mini raise. It's a $300 raise from Dave on the button with King 10 of Hearts.
Yep.
Trying to pick up the dead money.
Looks like Kirk's got pocket 8s. He's going to call from the big blind, and we're heads up.
King 10-8. How's that? Well, Ace 7-4.
Now, this might just go check that fold here. Yep.
I probably will.
Yep. And again, people that don't necessarily know what I'm talking about, third man walking, I've seen it in casinos. I think the Bellagio does it, Dave, and the Wynn in Vegas. And that is when 2 people are out. If the third guy gets up and he misses 1 round, they actually pick him up out of the game. And again, if we've got a pretty solid board in a game like this, I think it protects the game.
Well, they'll let, in Vegas as well, I know the Bellagio,
Yeah.
they will routinely let strangers play over other players if they're taking long breaks.
Oh, okay.
I actually took a break. I was playing at this time I was playing in the 8160 limit hold'em
Yeah.
game there.
Yeah.
And my wife came down to the Bellagio and I wanted to have dinner, but I didn't want to lose my spot in the game.
Right.
So they had some player play over me for about an hour and 20
that's
minutes.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
No way I didn't have to lose my spot.
Did they give you a little cube, a plastic cube?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Limped here by Allen, it looks like. And I believe Jonas straddled here. And we're going to see it three ways here. It's a $300 pot. Ace, deuce, 4. Jonas actually's got the best hand here with bottom pair. Checked around, turns a 7. Now Alan has a pair of 7s. And he's going to bet 200 here. Jonas is probably not going to get involved here. No. And Alan takes it down.
There's an interesting debate going on 2+2 forum, Fred, talking about when to get up from a game. And I've always maintained that if you are losing, your table image is bad. When you're losing, generally your judgments are not going to be as good as when you're winning. And I generally will play a lot longer. If you see me playing for, say, 12, 15, 20 hours,
right,
I'm usually winning, okay? If I'm losing, I'm usually getting up earlier. Some people say that they set win limits. And I'm not a big fan of this. I actually kind of subscribe to the Barry Greenstein theory. And I've talked to him about this in the sense that he goes, you don't really want to set, you almost want to set limits on your losses, but not limits on your wins, because if the game is really good, why not stay?
Well, I want to add to that. Let's take a look at the chip count here. This is what we're at now. Alan is leading the table. Almost 70,000 on the table. Let's look at the differences.
4 players.
Wow. Alan up 9,000. Gore up 5,000. Wow. Francisco down almost 13,000 there.
Yeah, and that is obviously not Mo in seat 2 anymore. That is actually David. He's down 1,500. And you see that one of the big losers, Mo, obviously, he was actually down 8,000. He's not in the game anymore.
Francisco's going to lead out here with king high flop with top pair, and he's going to take it down. Let me add something onto that, though, Dave. Because in no limit, it kind of adds another equation to it. I like to buy in the 5-10 game for 12 to 1,500. I can tell you, though, that if there are 2 or 3 aggressive players that have a lot of chips, and I'm up 3,000 or 4,000, I might get up. It's not because I'm winning. It's because I'm not necessarily comfortable losing $5,000 or $6,000 in one hand.
Right.
I might get up for 30 minutes, come back into the game, which they allow.
Right. And if they sense that if a good player who has a lot of money and you have a lot of money senses that you're not comfortable playing $5,000 in front of you, well, they can take advantage of that.
Right.
So as long as you're honest with yourself, it's okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the occasional hit and run. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong. Hey, you're up a couple $1,000. Even if you're up even if you're $20 and you feel like you're getting a little tired, get up.
5 of diamonds.
David is going to raise it up here to 300.
And Francisco's going to play. He's got king 8.
Makes the call.
He's in bad shape here. Ace queen against king 8. He's out of position.
Well, he's out flop David. Let's see how this one goes.
Yeah, he's in good shape, obviously. He's got 2
Now,
pair.
the thing against a player like Francisco, though, we talk about, you usually are going to bet heads up. You could just check, because he might not bet unless he has something here. And Ace Queen could just win it in a showdown. Turns a jack.
Yeah, but why do you want to let him get that for free?
Well, now David's going to bet on a draw.
You know what I mean? Why do you want to give him a free draw on the turn of the river?
Maybe to pick up like a pair if he has 6-3 offsuit or something.
Exactly.
A bet and a call, and the river's a 4 here.
I mean, wouldn't you be pissed off if he had like ace 4 or Jack? I mean, let's say he had Jack, Jack 10 or something like that. Well, not Jack 10. I'm saying Jack 5.
Well, the third spade comes here on the river. Francisco checks again, and is David... Yeah, I don't think David's going to go for it here. Let's see what he does.
You can't bluff him out. If he's got a pair, you got a pair. Well, this should be the time to check it.
Yeah. There it is. Checks it down.
9s and 8s.
I mean, I have no problem checking on the river because you're not going to bluff him out. But I certainly would bet the flop, and I'd probably bet the turn as well, because I want to charge him to get there. I mean, I only maintain this. I've seen players that are playing in a great game, and they get up when they're up, say, let's say they double their money. They get up. And to me, sometimes you're kind of like, you're cutting yourself off there. Sometimes if the game is great, and I am really on my game, and I mean I'm really focused, I'm just reading the players right on, my table image is great, why not take advantage of that? I mean, it's the only way you're going to get big wins.
We're rolling into the last 20 minutes here of the show. We got a lot of emails tonight. Thanks for everybody for emailing us in. Again, you can still email us. A couple, about 20 minutes left at liveatthebike.com.
Email here from Brent Cook, actually. One thing about the hand last night where somebody misread their hand and threw away the winner.
Right.
And we actually did find out that the player just mucked his hand.
Yeah, he did not
never show.
We have a raise here, it looks like, to 200 by Michael in seat 5 with king, queen offsuit. We're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4 people in here. Jonas is in there with that Vats Allen of clubs, we'll call it.
And he's played that twice tonight.
Yep. 10, 7, 6. And it looks like Jonas has the best hand with middle pair.
Yeah, he's outflopped everybody.
It's an $800 pot going 4 ways.
It's not a club. And I know there's a chance to get a team.
Now, Michael is in position, but he takes a card here, Dave. He does not bet.
Wow.
Turn is a 4, and now Jonas has got a big draw. He's got a straight draw, flush draw, and he has the best hand now.
Yeah, he's got a monster. Now, Francisco is open-ended, and Francisco might play this.
Jonas is going to come out and bet here 800. He's going to bet the pot. And if Francisco catches his straight, that is a club. We talk about that reversed implied odds.
Yeah. And Francisco actually needs I want to say, what does he need? He needs a 3 or an 8 that
That's
are not
offsuit.
clubs, or a king.
Here we go to the river. Well, the river's a 4.
This will probably go check, I imagine.
Check. And is Francisco going to bluff at it, Dave? It's about a $2,500 pot. Wow. And this would be a hell of a read here by Jonas. And Francisco is going to bet. We talk about this all the time. Would Francisco bet a mediocre hand? Would he bet just a 10 here? Oh, he's going to bet 600 here, Dave. Could he have called the turn with a 4? I think that's such a weak bet into such a big pot. I mean, it's a $600 bet into about a $2,500 pot.
You know, Jonas has induced this bluff. Is he going to pay him off? I think my guess is he's going to call him.
600 to win 3,100, and he does
Yeah.
make the call. Now, the question here is, if Francisco were to actually bet, say, 1,500 to 2,000 on the river, what would Jonas have done? Could he possibly put him on a 4?
Yeah, who knows?
Because it did get checked around on the flop, so there's
It's
no
tough.
lot of
I don't know. I mean,
information.
Jonas is really good at reading players. You never
Yeah.
know. But obviously, in that case, it's just too much money in there not to call.
Email here from Alan Hoffman, and I will announce this again. The NCAA tournament is starting tomorrow morning. If everyone wants to go to ESPN.com,
Not if everybody wants to. You have to.
Have to.
If you are a fan of this show, go to ESPN.com and enter.
go over to Fantasy, click on Fantasy. It's about 3 inches down from the top of the screen. Click on Tournament Challenge, sign yourself up, and we are in the group live, and then the @ sign, the Bike Fans, or live at Bike Fans. You can see, you can just start typing into a search box, and it will appear, it will populate
Right, exactly.
the field. And, put up your brackets there. We had
Yeah, the
10
password
people
is
here.
Bartgasm.
That's right. The password is Bartgasm, and the group is live, and then the @ symbol, Bike Fans, I believe.
We've got about 10 or 12 people in there now. I'd like to see that number get up to 100. So
Yeah.
join. It'll be kind of cool. Maybe I'll even I'm going to come up with some prize for the winner. I don't know what it is yet, but I'll come up with some cool prize. I'll announce it tomorrow night.
50 is a bet.
We got a raise here out of the small blind to 350. He's got ace-8 offsuit, George's. And Allen has called him with ace-9, and we can see that we got ace-10 for Mike. So George is probably not going to hit this flop. Jonas is on the button. He had limped him with 6-7 offsuit. So George is really trying to mix his game up here, raising out of the blind with ace-8. Sometimes, I give George a little bit of heat because he makes sometimes these peculiar plays with these hands that, you really don't want to play out of position here.
Yeah.
We've got about a $1,300 pot going 4 ways. See if George can fire out at it.
Well, everybody's really missed him, and Allen's got second pair.
George is going to check. And you know what? Allen's going to come out and bet here with ace.
Wow, and that's a great bet by Allen. Something you don't usually see him
He's
bet
gonna
in
bet
second pair.
300 into a $1,400 pot, though.
It's fine though. He gets to get $300 is still $300. He's going to get a little bit of information here, and he might even win the pot. You know what? He's going to win this pot.
Well, wait a minute. No, George might make a check raise here. He's got white chips there.
Sensing the weakness.
And he's going
Yeah,
to
he
check raise.
senses Allen's weakness, and he's going to make the raise. And what is Allen going to do now?
He raises here. It looks like 1,000 more, Dave.
And you correctly pointed out Allen's weak bet there kind of induced this bluff.
And look at the odds, though. Allen is killing George, but George is going to get away from it.
Yeah, wow, George really nice read there by George.
Yeah.
And George shows Jonas to play. I'm not sure why George would do that.
Yeah.
Jonas is a pretty astute player. Don't give him any information that he doesn't have already. You know, when you read Doyle Brunson's opinion on feeler bets, or I guess you call them, pine bluff, post oak bluffs, and he thinks they're kind of for the birds. You know, if you're going to bet real. If you're not going to bet, then check and fold, okay?
Did you see this email? We had an email from Saul H. in Miami talking about feeler bets, saying that feeler bets are usually made on the flop, and their purpose is to find out if you have the best hand with something like top pair with a bad kicker. But if you make these similar, smaller feeler bets with these types of hands against really good players, won't they pick up on it?
Of course, and that's a perfect example. Thank you very much for your email.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example for it. You know, and I actually incorrectly said, well, I kind of like the bet. He'll probably take this down. It is Allen. but you said it was a weak bet, and George picked up on that.
King 5-5 here. And look at this. Russ has got king queen, and Jonas has got trip 5s, and Jonas is in the cutoff. Russ is going to throw a little bet out here, and Jonas is going to immediately raise with trip 5s. He makes it, and it's a big raise. There's 2 clubs out there. And is Russ going to give him credit?
Well, this is pretty much where it is. This is where you're basically saying it's either going to be a big pot or you're going to get Russ off the hand right away.
Yeah.
Now, Jonas can't be any other 5, by the way. He's got a deuce kicker.
And Russ makes the call. Fast play, and Jonas is building himself up a pot. Oh, the turn's an 8, and Russ has got a flush draw now.
Yep. And Russ checks, and Jonas is going to bet $1,000.
Now, the funny thing here is, if Russ was actually good, he just makes an immediate call. If he were going to check raise there, Jonas actually might get off the hand. $5,000 pot to the river. The river's a jack.
And when Russ checks, and when Jonas bets, say, what, another 1,000, maybe 1,500 here?
$5,000 pot here, Dave.
Yeah, but Jonas wants the call there. He's going to bet, what, 1,500? There you go.
1,500. He's built himself up a pot. Now the pot is 6,500, and Russ looking at it like, oh, it's 1,500 for me to call, getting about 4 to 1.
Well, he's already called the flop. He's already got the turn.
Right.
Well, how do you lay down now?
My kicker plays.
How do you lay it down now?
And Jonas has played this hand artfully, I must say.
And I want to contrast. In contrast, that earlier in the night when Gore had a big hand against Francisco,
Right.
and Gore bet it too hard.
Right.
This time Jonas kind of priced him in, kept him in, reeled him in, and he's sucking him dry. Well played by Jonas.
Again, what I threw out there was like, you know, if Russ was actually cagey enough to check raise the turn big, it would actually put Jonas on a test because Russ had top pair and a flush draw, and Russ actually gets away from it. He folds.
I mean, the interesting thing about Russ's play, and I don't mind, obviously the fold's fine, but I just don't understand why you call on the flop. What, to see if your opponent's going to bet again?
And then he told Jonas what he had. He said I had a king and I picked up a flush draw on the turn. There you go.
I mean, you wonder if he hadn't picked up the flush draw on the turn, I guess maybe he would have thrown it away in the turn then.
Possibly.
But it's a good point, though. If he makes a big raise on the turn, can Jonas call him at deuce 5?
But I got to tell you, in about the year and 2 months we've been doing this show, I can count the amount of times on my hand I've seen somebody lay down open trips. And I only can remember one time when it came in when Yosh Nakano did it in a big game like it was nothing.
But if there's going to be a player that's going to lay down trips, Jonas is one of those players.
Right. Well, deuce 5 can't really beat much there.
Can't beat anything.
Yeah.
You can only beat pretty much like ace king or king queen of diamonds.
Jack 6-8 here with a couple spades. 2 people have top pair. It was limped around. Francisco and George is out kicked by Francisco. George is going to bet 250 here.
But is George doing the Unabomber thing today? What's going on?
Francisco makes the call, it looks like. Turns in 8. Francisco's kicker still plays now. And is George going to bet again? He might throw a little tiny bet out here. He's going to bet 250. Yeah, a little.
Kind of a pot collection, pot controlling bet there.
And a call here again by San Francisco. And the pot is about 1,200 as we go to the river. And the river's queen, and they're going to chop this one up now.
Yeah. Both players have jacks and 8s with a queen kicker.
And it's going to get checked down, it looks like.
Lucky river there for George. Interesting email here from Jake here. Why don't you guys have interviews with the players during or after the game? You could discuss key hands and give greater perspective into what the players were actually thinking. I think it would supplement your great commentary. Thanks, Jake. Thank you for your email. Keep that in mind. Once in a while, if you watch the show often enough, once in a while we do interviews during the game.
Well, why don't you go out and interview Jones tonight?
Okay.
We can't do that? I think that is actually something that's pretty complicated in terms of getting the interview actually on the live stream. For those of you that are interested in seeing our television show, the LA Poker Scene that was on in England, we used to always do a post-interview on that.
Trust me, I know.
The button moves over here to seat 1. That's Alan. And we've got about 5 or 10 minutes left in the show. This was a doozy of a show, Dave.
Yeah, really a great show.
9-6-5 here with a couple of hearts.
And nobody has a 9. Francisco's got the best hand here with king 6. Russ has got a gut shot straight draw. Allen, oh wow, Allen's actually flopped the straight.
Yeah, look at that. Allen's got 7-8 here.
Yeah, he's flopped the nuts here.
And Russ has come out and bet here with queen 7. Gore in seat number 6 is going to call with a flush draw. Francisco's going to come in with king 6.
We got a pretty big pot brewing here. And what is Allen going to do here? He's going to raise the
Gonna
button.
raise.
Come on, Alan. Don't ruin the party.
Gore says, come on, don't ruin the party, Allen.
No, only 200.
7 more.
He makes it 700 more.
Yep.
And Gore obviously wants a free card. He's got a flush draw possibility. And you wonder, is Gore going to get involved here? Because if he hits his hearts, does he think maybe he can crack Allen? And Allen's got a lot of money, folks.
Well, Russ's hand is garbage here. He's going to get away from it.
And action is over to Gore now. And Gore's got to base a $700 bet. The pot is about 12. Actually, the pot's about 1,400 now. 700 to call.
Yeah, you know, Allen didn't really put necessarily a lot of pressure here. He does have to protect against hearts. He does have the 7 of hearts in his hand.
Yeah, and Gore's got 8 outs. We can see another heart dead. He's only got 7 outs, actually. But if he hits his hand, you wonder if Allen can get away from a straight.
He calls, and now the pot balloons to, over 2,500. Here we go to the turn. The turn's a 10.
And that changes nothing. Allen still has the nuts, folks.
Gore checks.
And Allen's probably going to put a nice bet in here. Let's see if he bets about 1,500.
Well, that looks like only about 1,000 that he's cut out there. Well, it's more than that. Maybe it is 15. And it is 15. And I think Gore's going to get away from this dry flush draw now. And he does.
And he does a nice play by Allen there. Makes himself, and there wins another $2,500 pot, and Allen is just on fire. He is up over $10,000 tonight, folks. Man. Well played.
We're going to do one last chip count here tonight, Dave.
Yeah. It's been a lot of fun tonight.
I'm on the turn. I didn't need that river to help me. I didn't need help.
I fluffed it, man. I fluffed the nuts.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good way to play. Yeah.
7-8.
Nice hand.
Yeah, 7-8.
Well, this chip count does not account for Allen here.
Yeah, Allen actually won another $2,000.
Yeah.
Got over $67,000 on the table, folks. Wow. Let's see how they're doing.
Let's take a look at the differences here.
Flush, and I don't want it.
So we're getting word that Allen is actually up more like 9,500 here.
Yeah, he's up right around 10,000 there.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
And Gore's probably only up maybe 42.
Exactly. Jonas also up 4,200.
Remember, Jonas was down big early on, and now he's made a nice comeback. So
David.
Allen, the big winner.
Yeah, look at David. David down 3,000. Francisco down almost 13K.
Yep.
No
Limped
small
around
change.
here. 7 ways.
Flop is ace, queen, 9. Turn is a 4.
Got checked around on the flop. Doesn't look like anyone has much here. Queen 10 over there for Jonas. Let's see if he's going to bet now if it gets checked to him again. But actually, he checked it, and now the button is going to bet David with a pair of 4s. He bets 300. Jonas makes the check call. And we're going to be heads up here. If Jonas calls here and he checks the river, David,
wow.
Oh, look at this. I was going to say David can't think his hand's good, but David's made 2 pair. And he's going to value bet here.
Yeah, I think it's great value bet. Why
He bets
not?
800 now.
And Jonas correctly thought he was on a bluff now, but he's backed into the best hands.
Yeah. And Jonas is going to pay him off.
Yeah.
And I would think that David thought that he would had to have bet the river there too once Jonas check called
Yeah.
the turn to win.
There you go. And I want to thank everybody. We've got a lot of emails tonight. I really thank everybody. Once in a while, we can't get into the questions, especially
Right.
when we get an exciting game like tonight. Sometimes when the action slows down, we do try to answer more emails.
And this is going to be the
Keep 'em
last
coming.
hand of the night, Dave. And again, I want to remind you, head over there to a little live at sign the bike fans over at ESPN.com. Join our little rotisserie tournament bracket.
Yeah.
Password BartGasm group live at bike fans, and that's the at symbol.
We're challenging you.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw a couple things at you right away here.
3.
We'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel.
Yes.
Jonas is going to raise here. He's got ace queen from early position. He makes it 300 to go. Francisco's going to call with ace jack. Allen's got pocket 9s. He makes the call. And you wonder here if an ace flops, is Francisco going to get himself in a lot of trouble? $900 pot to the flop. Well, let's see if Jonas continues with his post-flop aggression. He's going to check, and Allen's got the overpair. If it gets checked to him, I'd assume that Allen's going to bet here. 8 deuce 7 with a couple of hearts. But look at this, Dave. Allen bets 300, and Jonas is going to make the same move that George made a couple times, maybe 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Allen bets 300 on the flop, and Jonas check raises him. And Allen gets away from it.
Wow. Look at that.
And George showed him the hand. And then I think Jonas just showed George the hand.
And what do I know? I mean, I didn't think you'd want to bluff Allen, but hey,
Yeah.
Allen's thrown it away. And it kind of proves when Allen is up, when he's winning big, that's the time to bluff him. You don't bluff him when he's down.
Well, that is going to do it for us tonight. What an exciting show. Like I said, we will be back here tomorrow at the same time. So for everybody here in the booth and for Dave Tuckman, I'm Bart Hanson. Good night, everybody, from Live at the Bike.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.